Good morning, I'm Isaiah Jacob. The Blue Jackets got it done yesterday, 5-2 over the Seattle Kraken. The Jackets went up 3-1 early. Cole Sillinger and Zach Werenski led the way for the Jackets with 3 points each. They play the Islanders today at 7. Coverage begins right here on the Fan at 6. Up in Cleveland, the Cavs got another win yesterday, 111-106 against the Pelicans. Donovan Mitchell had 27 in the win. Cleveland has Orlando up next on Tuesday. Yesterday in the NCAA tournament, the Lady Bucks scored a win against Howard, 75-54. Ohio State's a 3 seed taking on the 6 seed Notre Dame tomorrow at 4 p.m. And then on the men's side, the big upset of the day yesterday was the 11 seed Texas taking down 3 seed Gonzaga 74-68. The Big Ten had multiple teams move on to the Sweet 16. Illinois, Nebraska, Michigan, and Michigan State all advanced to next weekend yesterday. The round of 32 continues today at 12:10 when 7 seed Miami takes on 2 seed Purdue.
Live and local, it's time for Fan Sports Sunday. If the weekend is a big desert for sports talk, think of this show as an oasis.
Yes, here we go.
Come drink from our pool of hot takes as you quench your thirst with. I thought I was going somewhere, but I'm not. So let's just start the show.
All right, day number 4 of March Madness. This was kind of judgment month for me for where am I going to be with March Madness for the foreseeable future? Because last year kind of left a bad taste in my mouth as we have this new era of college sports. And I thought last year was kind of where it kind of caught up to us. But I got to say, Dylan Gonzalez, Isaiah Jacob, hello, I'm Cole Bartimas. I'm having a good time with this year's tournament. I had kind of low expectations. I don't know where you guys stood on this, but entering the tournament this year, I was concerned with what we had last year. We had all 1 seeds in the Final Four. We had 3 Elite 8 matchups that were 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. The other one being 1 versus 3. St. John's was the only top 2 seed not to make it out of the first weekend last year. And so I was concerned that, and I got to be kind of even on this because I don't want to be the guy who hates the upsets, because it hates too many upsets, but also hates when it's all chalk. So I got to kind of be fair to both ways. I thought last year's tournament was a bit of a concern that NIL and the transfer portal had put us in a position where upsets couldn't really happen, and now we're going to have the talent disparity that women's basketball has, but there were almost no upsets in the first 2 rounds of that tournament.
Right.
So I was worried that we were going to put ourselves in a position where we kind of could just write the tournament, like, you know how we all joke there's no such thing as a perfect bracket. I was worried that we were going to get to the point where it was going to be so obvious who was going to win and the first 2 rounds wouldn't mean anything. I got to say, though, I'm having a decent time with this tournament.
I'd say I'm fine like last year with all the number 1 seeds making the Final Four. I'm fine with that. I feel like not as many upsets even happen year to year as people think. Like, yeah, you get a couple of the first weekend, but then the tournament kind of always corrects itself going into the Sweet 16 and Elite 8. I guess an ideal tournament for me would be like you have like 2 Cinderellas in the Sweet 16. And by like, I'm not meaning Texas. Texas plays in the SEC and they beat Gonzaga yesterday. Texas,
they were a playing team,
yeah,
though.
but they're still. I bet you their NIL is pretty decent. Yeah. I bet you they play in the SEC. To me, like
they got an Afrocentric kid on the team, I think.
Oh, do they?
Jalen Swain.
Yes.
There you go.
He's killing it.
Oh,
in my
yeah, that's
player
right.
pool.
Because I have a bunch of people. I have a bunch of people in my group chat that thought Ohio State should have went after him in the transfer portal. So yeah, I did remember that. But for me, a typical tournament or an ideal tournament would have like 2 mid-major double-digit seeds in the Sweet 16, maybe 1 make it to the Elite 8. I don't want to see them in the Final Four. I never want to see them in the Final Four because unless it's Butler, you never really see a competitive game. At least in my lifetime that I can remember, once those teams get to the Final Four, that's when you see them get blown out. So it's like, what's the point of them even being there?
Exactly. So I'm somebody who thinks that I think the first rounds, the first couple rounds, the first weekend upsets, those are fun. Once it gets too far, all of the Cinderella stories have a ceiling on them.
Yes.
It was St. Peter's went too far. I didn't like how we got a 15 seed in the Elite 8. No way. I'm not down with that because it gets to a point where once we do get to the Final Four, and see, this is the part where I'm not trying to put the tournament in a lose-lose situation, I do want to see the best teams. And so although I didn't like that it was all 1 seeds last year, I did enter the Final Four like Now I don't know what's going to happen. Now I don't know, just if you just look at the numbers, I can't just predict based off of the seeds. So there was something appetizing about that a little bit. There was like some sort of thing that I could hold on to with that, some sort of redeeming quality.
Yeah,
but I'm with you, man. I can't have a bunch of like 9s versus 14s in the Elite Eight with a battle for the Final Four, because it's just like, here's why. And I think I can actually explain this in a way that makes sense. When you get to the Final Four, there are 2 games. That means if there is a 9 seed or worse, an 8 seed or worse in the Final Four, that means half of your day is a wash. So when you have upsets in the first round, there are 16 games going, or I'm sorry, I guess it'd be, it'd be 16 per day. In the first round of the tournament, there are 16 games going on in one day. That means, and then you have, am I doing this math correctly? Yeah, because you got 64 teams, 32 across 2 days at 16 per day. Okay. That means if
Believe in yourself.
Thank you. 3, 2, 1. Math can't be that hard. We're working with very round numbers here. But that means that if you have a crazy upset, that means when you go into the next round, that means you're going to have 8 games per day. And so if one of those games is, a 15 or a 16 seed, you still got 7 other games that you expect to be decently competitive. So that's a little bit different than if you make it to the Elite Eight and the Final Four, where there are 4 games per day and 2 per day. And it's like, I feel like half of my day isn't worth watching. That's the difference. And so thank you for helping me with that in real time. I've never been able to explain that. That is the sweet spot of it.
Yeah.
Is that the upsets are fun early because there are other games that are going to be competitive. You don't want a Final Four where you got a 1 seed versus a 10. And so I guess the 10 seed does kind of earn their credibility along the way, but you know that the shoe is dropping at some point.
I mean, you mentioned St. Peter's going to the Elite Eight, and I remember them losing pretty bad. They ended up losing in the Elite Eight 69-49. So
yeah, not competitive.
They didn't really show up.
There'd be 4 games.
And then I brought up the only, quote, Cinderella team I ever remember doing good was Butler with Gordon Hayward. But guess what? Yeah. They had Gordon Hayward. And I don't remember who the center on that team was.
Matt Howard.
Yes, but I remember him playing very well as also. So it's like,
I think they made the championship the next year too with Shelvin Mack as their guard.
I think you're right. But yeah, you see, that's different. And then they had Brad Stevens as their coach. That was different. It was nice to see.
Well, that's easy to say now,
right,
on the other side of that.
Right.
Knowing that Gordon Hayward was an all-star NBA player.
Yes, but seeing High Point win, that was cool. I don't want to see them in the Elite Eight. No, thank you. Get them out of here. And also, I feel like people are saying that the reason why this is happening is because of the NIL and transfer portal. I think basketball was kind of ahead of football when it came to NIL and transfer portal. I remember in 2023 seeing Hunter Dickinson go from Michigan to Kansas, and who was the other one? Caleb Love, when he left UNC to go to Arizona. Those were 2 things that you're like, they're already at kind of basketball powers, and they're just going to a different basketball power
and they weren't hurting for playing time,
just to make more money, and they were arguably the stars on each of those teams that they left. So I feel like we've seen this in basketball for a while, and football kind of caught up last year. I think this is what it is. Because once a school with the mid-major has a star player, he's
gone.
The high majors are going to poach him, and that's
the dude who beat Ohio State, the Oral Roberts dude,
Max Abmas.
There you go. Went to Texas the next year, right?
Yep.
So that's the thing, too, is that the structure of this sport, it's worse here than it is in football. And I got a million problems with how this era of college football is being operated, because it's so much less fun to watch. I'll still watch it, so I'm not trying to pretend like I'm just going to protest these sports. But the thing about it is that there are so many more college basketball teams. And so there are more players, and there's the draft in the NBA is thin. The rosters are thinner in basketball. So you have thinner rosters and you have more teams. So when there are only 60 players getting drafted, there are going to be a lot of players who are still hanging around in college. And so because you got guys who do not have a future elsewhere and are forced to play 4 years, and they're moving around. And so, the best player on a mid-major is probably not getting drafted, depending on who he is.
Right.
There'll be a couple mid-majors who are fortunate enough to maybe have a one and done here or there. But back in the day, it used to be, and I hate that phrase because it makes us all sound a million years old. But back in the day, they used to be 4-year guys. And I remember advocating against the one and done all-star teams, these 3-month all-star teams that certain coaches would put together. I'm like, that's not built for March, because you might run into a team that they may be a mid-major team and, a logo and a color scheme and a seating that we don't necessarily all respect, but they may have a bunch of players who are all juniors and seniors and have played together and are a little bit more battle tested. So that now is kind of sucking out the mid-major juice there.
Yeah.
And so that would be a little bit of a difference, but I am still, this is like the dunkiest tournament ever. Has anyone else noticed this? There are like signature dunks in almost every single game. I can't wait for the highlight reel to get uploaded to YouTube at the end of this tournament. This tournament is a highlight reel machine. The only gripe that I have with this, and I'm not trying to sit here and talk about my bracket because who cares, if we could have just flipped the Santa Clara, Kentucky result with the Vanderbilt, Nebraska result, I could have gone from 0-2 to 2-2. But I'm enjoying this tournament, man. We got good games. Now, do you think, and I know the answer to this question, and this is why March Madness can stand on its own 2 feet, but do you think in this city that the appetite for March Madness was diminished significantly? It was definitely diminished, but was it diminished significantly when Ohio State kicked off this entire tournament with an early dismissal?
I can't speak for the city, but for me personally, the answer is
you got
yes.
friends you talk to.
I'll tell you what. I mean, that's
what when we talk about, what the pulse of the city. We're not canvassing the neighborhoods. We're just talking to our friends and just saying what our friends say. That's all we're talking about.
So for me personally, I went into Thursday and I was like, I didn't really enter any bracket pools. I had no wagers on any March Madness games. I was just riding on the high of Ohio State making the tournament for the first time in 4 years. And then when they lost, I was like, time to put some wagers in. Try to get that interest up. So for me personally, the answer to your question is absolutely yes. As soon as they got bounced, I was like, okay, let me put some bets in so I have more interest in this tournament than I would have had without them.
More on this topic, and how does Ohio State's first round exit compare to the program expectations? We'll talk about that next. Stick around, 97.1.
Whatever you're doing right now, just know that Bo Bishop is enjoying a sip of bourbon. Even if this promo is playing in the morning, no judgment.
Ah, sweet morning drinking.
The Fan.
At Great Lakes Hyundai, the savings are so good.
Take your shot to save at Great Lakes Hyundai. Shoot the hoop to get extra savings on your new car purchase. On top of big shot savings like 0% financing on 26 Hyundai Santa Fe's and Tucson's for up to 5 years. Plus, make no payments for 90 days. It's the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Dublin or Columbus or GLakesHyundai.com. With Pro Credit, some customers may not qualify. First to cruise during no payment period. New Hyundais come equipped with owner assurance and America's Best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Offer ends 3/31.
Why choose between getting things done and doing things with the ones you love? With Kroger same-day pickup and delivery, it's easy to shop the same great prices and quality you'd find in store. We'll bring your groceries right to you, so you can spend time on what matters most. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Save $20 on your first Kroger pickup or delivery order of $75 or more. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Common Man here for Weed Man. I talk to you about Weed Man every year. Why? Simple. Number one, I use it. Number two, it works. You want to get those lawn roots thick, baby, because when that happens, they resist weeds, disease, and insects, and they're using top-of-the-line stuff. We're talking golf course quality. Weed Man is locally owned and operated by Corbin and Audrey. They will take care of you. Proudly serving Central Ohio and our Dayton friends. Call your local office, 614-733-3747, weedman.com.
The best words to hear at the TSA security checkpoint? You're good to go. All it takes is a little preparation. Get to the airport early, bring a carry-on bag that fits in the overhead, and have an acceptable ID. Not all state-issued IDs will cut it. Check out tsa.gov/ID and see which TSA acceptable IDs make the grade, like a real ID or passport.
Before you jet, do a little prep, and you're good to go. Check out tsa.gov/ID or the MyTSA app.
Get Eco.
ECO. Aaron?
Yeah, Jerry?
Something is wrong.
Something's wrong?
Yeah, it's definitely something.
Get Eco.
ECO. thumping and bumping and jumping.
What is?
But it's not pumping.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Jerry,
Yeah, Aaron.
are we talking about your sump pump?
Yeah, isn't it great?
Isn't what great?
I like the sound of it. Sump pump. Sump pump, sump pump, sump pump.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Jerry, can you keep a secret?
Aaron, I'm as silent as a bank vault in Switzerland.
I kind of like to say it too.
Hey, I should invent a sump pump that lets you know when it's working.
How would it do that?
It would say, sump pump, sump pump, sump pump.
That's a great idea, Jerry, but a sump pump should be exactly like you.
How so?
As silent as a bank vault in Switzerland.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. Mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Your favorite fan shows are available as a podcast. What a concept. And don't miss exclusive podcast content like Austin and Byrne. Listen on your schedule from anywhere in the world. Available wherever you get your podcasts.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Dale's a loser. I play to win, like early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
It's Timmy Hall here with Gordon Miller, founder of Miller Lending. Now, Gordon, I remember hearing of your no-cost mortgages back in 2008 when I was on the air in Raleigh-Durham. So what brings you to Central Ohio?
Hey, Tim. Small world, isn't it? But we saw Columbus as the perfect market to offer our no-closing cost mortgage product. With a growing population and relocations, it was similar to our original decision to expand into Raleigh back in '96.
Well, I got to see firsthand how well it worked in Carolina. So how about explaining to our listeners how it truly has no closing cost associated?
That's right, Tim. Way back in 1987, I found a way to do mortgages without using the standard method of buying the rate down with thousands of dollars in various costs. Rates were volatile, much like they are today. And folks were stuck at higher rates because it simply cost too much to refinance. There had to be a better way, and we think we found it.
That was Gordon Miller, founder of Miller Lending, the home of the no-cost loan. Give him a call, 877-9-NO-COST, or online at nocostmortgage.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender. NMLS number 2502146.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We are looking at a mix of clouds and sunshine here for your Sunday, but it's going to be a very warm one as we reach the mid-80s for the afternoon, calling for a high around 84 degrees with a record high being 85 set back in 2012. Now we are going to be tracking a cold front building in, and that's going to kick off some showers and thunderstorms later on this evening. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Aaron White here on 97.1 The Fan.
Matty Ice has a large tattoo on his calf of LeBron eating a lion. I have nothing else to say. Rockman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan. We firmly believe it's appropriate to tailgate before a youth soccer game. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
All right, the action will get started at 12:10 on Channel 10. It will be 2-seed Purdue and 7-seed Miami. They'll be playing in the Gateway City. So I don't know about you, Zeke, but my friends, I don't think that their appetite for March Madness has, or, you know, as I call it, the city of Columbus, I don't think their appetite for March Madness was diminished that much. Definitely Ohio State kicking off the tournament with an immediate exit in an 8-9 game, in a 2-point game, definitely wasn't what you wanted, but I do think that gambling can kind of keep this entire thing afloat. Like if this were any other sport, certainly like the Stanley Cup playoffs
and the bracket pools do it too.
Yeah,
which is I guess included in gambling. I guess you're right.
I don't consider that gambling, but it like technically is.
Yeah.
So sorry, but I don't know. Like I don't think anybody's appetite was diminished so much that they're like refusing to watch.
I agree. I think March Madness on its own, it holds it up. I think that there would have been, I'm sure the bars probably would say there would be more people there. I would say there'd probably be more people going out if Ohio State had won and were playing Duke yesterday. I think that there would probably be more people that were actually out for the games rather than staying at home, if I had to guess. But I would say the March Madness, feel like all my buddies are still talking about the tournament. All my buddies who aren't even like huge sports fans are always into March Madness. But I think Ohio State would have given the city extra juice to play Duke yesterday. Like, that would have been much watched TV for everyone.
It is such a tradition. Like, it is on par with the Super Bowl, in my opinion. I shouldn't say on par, because the Super Bowl is the Super Bowl. But the first weekend, certainly, of March Madness. And it's tough to compare, because it's a 4-day event this first week, Thursday through Sunday, obviously. And it's tough to compare to anything else because it's formatted differently. But this thing attracts more casual fans because of the tradition of the bracket pools and like, I could go through some of the names in my bracket pools that I'm in, and I'm looking at some of the names and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. This is the least research I've ever done in a bracket, by the way. And you can go listen to the last segment and find out why. But I'm looking at some of my friends who were in there. I'm like, okay, like, this thing's attracting people who I know are not watching college basketball. And I'm not even like a savant. On that topic, we will have the authority on college basketball, Jacob Reimer, joining us for the next 2 segments. So he'll be joining us in a little bit at 11:30. But I do think, Super Bowl aside, this has to attract more casual fans than any sporting event. I don't know, the Kentucky Derby. Did you put that up there?
I would put March Madness higher, just because the Kentucky Derby, it's a bunch of hype for about 2 minutes of action.
Yeah, but that's another thing that gambling.
Don't disparage it. I like the Kentucky Derby.
You ever been?
What? I've never been, but I love betting on it.
I don't know if I would want to.
Want to go or bet on it, or both?
No, I don't. I've bet on it before. I'm probably not retired for the rest of my life. But I'm saying, I don't know if I would want to go.
Maybe once. I could go
just
once.
one time.
One time would
just
be good
to say
for me.
You did it.
Dude, it rains like almost every year, doesn't it?
The rain would be a killer. But the betting on it is fun because it's the one thing that my fiance loves to bet on. Because she'll pick out the horses.
Horse racing.
She likes to pick out the
you
horses.
just pick out a name she likes, probably.
Exactly.
That's that.
We run through it. And because it's
the
so
color scheme
short
design.
that it keeps her attention the whole time. A lot of times I'll try to get her to bet on games with me. I'll say, well, who do you think's going to score the most? Then by the halftime, like, it's been so long. The Kentucky Derby is short enough to where she'll be paying attention the whole time and we can cheer together.
I wonder about this. As we were supposed to be talking about Buckeye basketball expectations, and we will get to that. But I do think about this sometimes in terms of sports fandom in America and how much of it is actually driven by gambling. And if you couldn't gamble, how much less sports would people watch? And, you know, I wonder that about football sometimes, although I think football is just the best sport, and that's why people like it so much. Easy for us to say. We live in Ohio, and that sport drives this state like no other. But I do wonder that football has like more gambling attached to it than any other sport. Not necessarily most frequent, well, although probably, but you know, you got sports that you can bet on literally every single day, which is how I found tennis, and now I'm a tennis fan. And now I don't even bet on it.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I'm a big time tennis fan. It all started in college because it was a sport that I could gamble on every single day. So that was the beauty of it for me. And then I'm like, actually, I kind of like this. But I do wonder about that, about sports fandom in America. How much of it is gambling reliant? Because there are a lot of sports that I know my buddies would not be tuning into if they didn't have money right now.
All right, I'll give you an example, and this is kind of an easy example of what keeps people hooked via gambling. So when Ohio State played Purdue in football, I had Purdue plus 23.5. At the end of the third quarter, the score was 27-3 Ohio State.
So that's 24, so we're within half a point of the spread.
Right, but I was not covering. And then with about 6 minutes left, Ohio State scored 34 to make it 34-3.
Okay.
And then Purdue gets the ball back, obviously. Garbage time touchdown with 1:45 left. I cover my bet. If it wasn't for me placing that bet at the end of the third quarter, would have been out. Would have been looking for something else to watch.
You mean to tell me that as a sports talk radio guy, you don't watch every single snap of Ohio State football, even in blowout games when there are other games on TV?
On November 8th against Purdue that I was doing that. I can admit that. I'll raise my right hand and admit that
There's a better game going on.
Yes, I'm
clocking
out.
out.
Sorry, I'm not watching Ohio State blowout.
Yeah, I don't need to watch the fourth quarter of a 31-point game that Ohio State's going to win.
Unless I'm financially invested to do so.
See?
And to your point too, Cole, you think about it right now with March Madness, how many people would have the same appetite if there were no brackets? If there was no brackets going off, they never created the brackets because that's people's gambling.
Yep.
For my family that does it, we don't put money on it, but just like for them, who's in first place? Like it's the rights every year of who gets to be the champion. Like it's having that on the line. So if you got rid of the brackets, would March Madness be as popular? It would still be popular, but it would not be as popular for the casual fan.
Wait, did you say there's no money in your family thing?
And the family one, we don't do
Are they
money.
still paying attention?
Oh yeah, they're still paying attention.
There's not much pride involved in your family to just be correct.
Pride. It's a lot of pride.
But that's like doing a fantasy football league where it's like you join a league randomly just because you want to draft so badly, so you join the fantasy football league, and then like you actually like still set lineups like no one does that.
It's the bragging rights every year. It's funny because the past couple years
apparently bragging rights mean a lot in your family.
They mean a lot in my family because we have a big group message and everybody is texting in it and who's winning. The same person wins every year and we always hate it. It's my Aunt Kathy. She wins every single year, so we have to dethrone her.
You see,
well,
who among
what
us?
does she know?
Who among us growing up in school weren't in like a bracket pool that the administration told us, hey, don't put money on it, but you did it anyway, or a fantasy football league where you weren't supposed to put money in, or survivor pool. Even when you weren't old enough to gamble, you were gambling on sports.
Yeah. So you're doing player pools with your buddies back there?
Yeah, we do. I did a player pool. This is the first year I've done a player pool.
Are you enjoying it?
Don't tell me you're doing that just for fun.
No, not doing that for just for fun.
If you're drafting players,
that
takes research. Unlike my bracket,
it took not even explainable amount of research. It was insane trying to get everything prepared for it. But I do love it. And at the casino, earlier, the On the Money crew, we're doing it every game. So we just did another one like an hour ago for the Purdue-Miami game coming up here at noon. We all snake drafted 2 players. Whoever scores the most points gets all the money. We've been doing it all day long over there. It's a blast.
The 3 of you?
The 3 of us, yep.
Dude, you got to draft players for every game?
We've been doing it, not every game.
Every round.
But we do it every now and then. But we have a big one that's ongoing for the entire tournament.
Okay.
And then me, Dave, and Scotty just have been doing them throughout the day. We'll text each other and say, hey, let's do a snake draft. And then we'll send in our players and keep it rolling. We've been doing it over the casino. It's a fun time.
My friend Ben, who is Reimer level obsessed with college basketball, has been doing these 3-2-1 bets for every game. First team to hit a 3, a 2, and a free throw. And it's been very interesting watching him sweat out these bets.
Wait,
you bet on the first team in every game.
So that
hit a 3-pointer.
Do they have to eclipse all 3?
Yeah, they just need to hit a 3-pointer, a 2-pointer, and hit a free throw.
So they don't have to be the first in all 3 categories. They just have to be the first to collectively do this.
Yes.
I love bets like that. I also love the race to 10 points. Anything that happens
that's actually fun.
In the beginning of the game because it gets you tuned in right away. And it can change at any second. Like you said, the 3-2-1 is perfect too because at any moment someone can get fouled and shooting the free throw to win it.
The best bet in all of sports, we all got to agree with this, is yes or no, how many runs going to be scored in the first inning of a baseball game. That's the best bet that you could ever make.
You also got like first basket in basketball.
You know the starting pitcher, so you don't have to worry about any relievers coming in there and screwing you. No, first basket's the worst. There are too many options.
You never hit it, but it's always juicy, though. It's always juicy.
Honestly, I had a little run where I would take the starter with the highest or lowest odds is what I want to say. The longest shot, basically.
Okay, the longest shot
but always the starter.
In the starting lineup?
Yes, in the starting
Dean
lineup.
Wade over and over again for the cash.
Right, and eventually over time it'll cash. You just need it to hit like once out of every 20 games. His odds are so terrible for it.
I actually really miss the yes runs in the first inning or the no runs in the first inning.
You'll be there here soon enough.
Hey, baseball season's coming up. Opening day, I think, is on Thursday. They may have a Wednesday night game with the Giants and the Yankees, but Thursday, I think, is when everybody else is joining us. Joining us next, the Authority, Jacob Reimer. He's joining us on the V-Mix, by the way, just so you know. He's coming up next. We're going to throw the bracket at him. Stick around. 2 minutes, 97.1.
It's March. Send it in, big fella. That means the greatest sports weekend of the year is coming, and the best place to set the puppies and watch the tournament is at Hollywood Casino Columbus. I'm Scotty Vegas, and Thursday through Sunday opening weekend, kiss the kids goodbye and hang out from noon to 5 with the fan at the Hollywood Casino Sportsbook. A Bill Raftery impersonation contest, free throw games, free shirts, and more. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966. Onions!
Remember what sunshine feels like? Windows open, birds chirping, everything looking fresh and new. Spring is closer than you think, and so are those home projects on your to-do list. Maybe winter left its mark, a small leak that's getting bigger, shingles that didn't survive the snowstorms, or siding that's clearly seen better days. Whatever your home is facing, our team of professionals at Newman Roofing are here to help. For more than 34 years, Newman Roofing has been helping homeowners protect what matters most. From your first phone call, you'll notice the difference. Passionate and committed people who care about doing the job right. And with over 1,000 five-star Google reviews, you don't have to take our word for it. If your roof, siding, or gutters need attention, call the family company you can trust, Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof this spring, get a Newman roof.
Your child's oral health milestones matter. By age 1, see a pediatric dentist to establish good oral health habits. At 7, see an orthodontist to check your child's bite, teeth, and jaws. Around 15, visit an oral and maxillofacial surgeon to have your child's wisdom teeth examined. Remember, milestones met, healthy teeth set. Visit milestonesmet.org.
No hot takes, no dancing, plenty of stupid. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Garnish your Bloody Mary with sports talk. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
All right, as promised, the Authority joins us. Jacob Reimer.
I don't want to see Reimer. Where's Nora?
She's probably there somewhere.
She was asleep just a little bit ago.
Not anymore. Well,
No.
hey,
How is she so cute when you're her dad? That's what I want to know.
stop.
First
Hey,
question of
he
the
actually has a
month.
haircut that I like now. Yeah, I haven't liked a lot of his haircuts because I like him with the longer hair. I like this haircut of his. That's a compliment.
I'm trying to. Thank you, Cole. I appreciate that. I'm trying to figure that out myself with Nora because, I mean, I think she definitely got her mother's looks. It definitely did not come from me. That's a dang fact.
All right, first question for you about this NCAA tournament. Does it count as a tournament victory if your only win was in a play-in game?
I think so.
No.
I mean, I think that's
historically, yes. Like, officially, yes.
Because I'm hearing broadcasters talk about how Howard University, and we can say the exact same thing about Miami, although it wouldn't be their first ever, but Howard University got their first tournament victory, but it was a first 4 game against another competitor for the 16 seed. So I don't think we could say Miami has won a tournament game this year, Reimer.
I think we can. I mean, it's part of the NCAA tournament. Like it's in Dayton. You got the March Madness logos on the floor. I think it counts. I feel like that should, especially for. I think that's the cool thing about the 16 seeds is like, I know I would prefer the last 4 teams in to play in Dayton, but I know you got to have it some then for the 16 seeds. And it gives them that opportunity to actually have a win in the tournament and go back to their school and have something to be proud of.
I'm with you, Cole, but technically Reimer's right. But I don't think it should be that way.
So does everybody else get credit for getting a first round bye? No.
Essentially, that's what
win in the first 4 last year. I'm not counting that. That's I think there's a different standard there.
All right, I'll give you 2 options, although if you want to go off the board, fine. But actually, I'll give you 3 options on this one.
Okay.
Best teams that you've seen in the tournament so far, Houston, Michigan. I might throw in Illinois, or do you want to go off the board? Best team in the tournament so far?
Best team in the tournament so far. I mean, Arizona handled their business.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Against Long Island. I'm anxious to see how they do today. Iowa State's interesting with the Joshua Jefferson injury potentially. It sounds like he's unlikely to go today. But, I mean, it's probably got to be Michigan. I mean, they took care of Howard easily. It was I think they were up 4 at halftime, and then they turned it on. They stopped playing with their food. But then the St. Louis game yesterday, that was my favorite 22-point game I've ever watched. I think that's the best way. Like, I can explain it. Just the basketball being played in that game was unbelievable. The dunks, the shot making, like St. Louis did all they could. It's just Michigan's inevitable, and the big runs are going to come. You got what you expect out of Houston yesterday against Texas A&M with their ginormous run into the first half, looking like the Houston that we expect under Calvin Sampson. That game, that Sweet 16 game with them in Illinois is going to be a ton of fun, but right now I'm going to have to go Michigan. They've been one of the best teams all year too, and they know what's at stake here. This is their biggest goal, and they're showing it.
Do you think Yax will translate to the NBA?
I think so. I definitely think so. He's a great wing. Like, that's the way the league is trending. Bigger, athletic wings. Like that's his efficiency numbers are ridiculous. I think that's going to. He can guard 1 through 5. I think he'll be fine in the league for sure.
I want to get your take on what we opened the show with, and I saw you tweeted about it, where some people think that this tournament isn't as good because of the lack of upsets and Cinderellas. I kind of said that the sweet spot for me is like 2 Cinderellas in the Sweet 16, maybe 1 in the Elite 8, and then get them out by the Final Four. But what's your take on that?
I think the biggest thing with that whole conversation is we were spoiled at the start of 2020 when we get 3 years in a row with 15 seeds knocking off 2 seeds and getting to the Sweet 16. You had Princeton in 23. You had Oral Roberts, which is going to upset Ohio State fans there. But then you got St. Peter's getting all the way to the Elite 8. And it kind of became a thing like, okay, like we expect this now. And I feel like with what NIL has become and what the transfer portal has become, it's really allowed these top teams to really take off and become almost unbeatable in these spots. And that doesn't mean, like, I feel like the games this year have still been great. Like, if you watched last night, I don't understand how you can hate this tournament, like with Nebraska and Vanderbilt with what they gave. Like, that was one of the best games I've ever watched. And I know everybody wants the Cinderella. It's what helps bring the magic. But, I mean, you've got Texas. I'm not counting them as a Cinderella, but they're an 11 seed in the Sweet 16. I mean, it would have been more for High Point, but I get you're wanting to see a little bit more chaos, but the further the top teams go, the better the games are going to be.
Let's stick with a few Big Ten teams here, and you just brought up Texas. Texas will probably have Purdue in the next round. Matt Painter's Purdue teams have, not all the time, but they've had a lot of disappointments. Could this Texas team give Purdue a run for their money in the next round if they see them?
The way they're playing, I definitely wouldn't put it past them. They've got size that can match up with Purdue's bigs, Oster Clough and Trey Kaufman-Renn, and they've got a guy in Jordan Pope who's a what you need in March is you need good guard play. Jordan Pope was fantastic against Gonzaga. Tremont Mark has just been stepping up in big-time moments like you saw in the first 4 in Dayton where he hit a big shot against NC State with 1 second left. And Dalen Swain is really elevating his draft stock to an elite 3-and-D guy. I felt that way when I saw him at Xavier in person last year that I'm watching an NBA wing right now. He can really create a lot of problems for what Purdue presents, and they're really defending at a high level too. Like Gonzaga was no joke. They're one of the most experienced teams in the country. They have great size. They were a little beat up injury wise, and that could be what got them because they didn't have the depth that they had all year in the front court. But I mean, the way Texas is playing, Sean Miller is a great coach. Like I definitely would not put it past them to give Purdue a run for their money in the Sweet 16.
You're not wrong about much in college basketball. All right, I'm going to say it again so you hear it before I go after one of your picks. You're not wrong about much in college basketball, but I know that you were very low on the Michigan State and what they were capable of, especially against North Dakota State. They win that first game by 25. They come out the next game and beat Louisville. Are you starting to buy into this Michigan State team now?
Yes. Hand up. That's on me. That's what I get for fading Mr. March, Tom Izzo. But I looked too deep into it. I was looking too deep into analytics, and I just wanted to be different and maybe have an upset that nobody else would have. And the way North Dakota State was trending and the way Michigan State had been trending, I was like, okay, like there's a possibility here. But no, the Michigan State's experience, they put the pedal to the metal and rolled past them. And I felt the way that they looked against Louisville, if they're playing that way, they can 100% get to Indy and maybe even cut down the nets. Like, they're one of the best rebounding teams in the country. Cohen Carr had his best game of his college career with 21 and 10, his first double-double ever, which I couldn't believe when I saw that too. And the best shooting performance that they've probably had. They had 6 guys at least make a three. Like, that was my biggest thing with them, is if they're not knocking down shots, where's the offense going to come from? You got Jeremy Fears, who has got the second most assists in a 2-game span in the NCAA tournament since 2000. Like, you need good guard play, and what Jeremy Fears has been doing the last few months of the season into the NCAA tournament, if he can continue that against potentially a UConn, most likely a Duke, like, I think they got a real good shot at getting to Indy.
So I subscribe to the theory that the stars of college basketball are actually the head coaches, and there's a lot of big-name head coaches still left in this tournament. Who do you trust the most out of all the coaches left in the tournament?
So it's interesting because coming into this, I felt that one of Tommy Lloyd, TJ Otzelberger, or Brad Underwood, one of those three would get their opportunity and break through and get to a Final Four. And I mean, they're all in great positions too, for sure. Like, they've got great teams. They're looking great right now. Iowa State's got a big test today. I feel like you got to turn to probably John Shire or Dan Hurley. John Shire, getting what he's able to do in game adjustments has been great, especially like you saw that against TCU yesterday, to where they just let Cam Boozer feast. But I've always then felt like if Dan Hurley is a high seed in March, that's going to be tough to go against too as well. And I would love for that matchup to present itself in the Elite Eight for a spot to get to the Final Four. That'd be a coaching clinic, that's for sure, between Shire and Dan Hurley.
Well, it might be on a collision course right now. You got one more in you?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Jacob Reimer's going to stick around. Stick around, you as well. 97.1 The Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
Hey there, friends. Bill Bishop here from my friends at High Bank Distillery Co. It's well known High Bank is my go-to when I want an award-winning whiskey, but did you also know that they make the best vodka in America? They have 3 incredible spots here in Central Ohio where the food is just as good as what's in the glass. They've got something for everyone, and get this, kids eat half off every Monday, so whether you're sipping on the best vodka in America or simply grabbing a meal with family and friends, High Bank delivers every time. Find a location and a menu at highbankco.com. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank.
It's never a bad time to fire up the grill. At Billiards Plus, the grilling season never ends. While you're grill shopping, you'll love browsing Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
There's an old story about cat toys that's been retold for over 20 years because it perfectly explains who we are. This is Dennis Sullivan, president of Care Heating and Cooling. Years ago, a couple who shared their house with 3 cats had another company out to look at their furnace. After working on it, the technician said it was dangerous and had to be replaced. The couple called Care for a second opinion, and my dad Mike went out to help them. When he inspected the furnace, the cause of the problem became obvious. A cat toy had been stuffed into the heat exchanger. With the toy removed, the furnace ran perfectly. Now, how did the toy get there? You can decide for yourself. But here's what mattered then and still matters now. The first company paid commissions to their service techs to sell new furnaces. At Care, we pay our technicians to fix furnaces, not sell you a new one. And if a new furnace is needed, our team of replacement specialists will advise you on all options available and help you make your best choice. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING when you need a company you can trust.
Your mornings are jam-packed. So if you're going to add anything, make it your favorite bite from Tim Hortons. Buy any size beverage and add a daily baked donut for $1, a tasty bagel for $2, or a freshly cracked hot breakfast sandwich for just $3. It's the best way to add more to your morning. The 1-2-3 menu, only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, must ask for offer in restaurant. Tax extra exclusions and terms apply at timhortons.com/offer-terms.
Bacon, sausage, egg.
cheese, made from scratch biscuits, fresh baked croissants, cinnamon swirl French toast. Hungry? Grab a hot UDF breakfast sandwich made in store for your morning. UDF, mornings made for you.
I thought mixing bleach with my floor cleaner would take the stain out.
When my youngest ate the dog's medicine, that was a new one.
I was trying to protect my garden, but I accidentally sprayed myself with pesticide.
So I called 1-800-222-1222, the poison helpline.
A poison expert helped me figure out what to do next.
I was connected to someone who spoke Spanish.
They answered my questions.
It was free.
It was confidential.
It was real help in real time.
Keep the poison experts in your pocket. 1-800-222-1222.
It's a new month and a new reason to visit Germain Honda of Dublin. Right now, take advantage of great low rates on select certified pre-owned models all month long. You'll get the reliability you trust, the value you want, and payments that make sense. And the wait is over. The all-new Honda Prelude has arrived with precision suspension and responsive hybrid performance. Great rates, awesome vehicles. Only at Germain Honda of Dublin. They're on Sawmill Road, just south of 270, or online at GermainHondaofDublin.com.
Columbus, it's time to gear up. The Open Season Sportsman's Expo, presented by Progressive and Can-Am, returns this Friday through Sunday at the Ohio Expo Center. Bring the family to see Twiggy the water skiing squirrel. Shop hundreds of exhibitors and get hands-on with the latest hunting gear, equipment, outfitters, and land management. Learn from expert seminar speakers and bring your buck for the Trophy Deer Contest with more ways to win big. Fueled by Toyota, the official truck, and Tacticam, the official cell camera of the Open Season Sportsman's Expo. Get discounted tickets now at OpenSeasonSportsman'sExpo.com.
Hey, Timmy, we're in the finals for Pizza Madness.
Oh, Mikey, we've got a classic matchup. We've got Adriatico's taking on Pizza House for all the marbles.
Vote now, pizzamadness.pizza, brought to you by our friends at Billiards Plus.
Yay, pizza.
Aetna has been my lifesaver. Easy to understand, and if not, customer service is always there to help.
Those words from a real Aetna Medicare Advantage member speak to why U.S. News & World Report named us a best Medicare Advantage company. Because we show up with care management that ensures doctors work together on complicated conditions. We show up with the latest in online tools to make healthcare easier to use anytime. We show up for you because that's how healthier happens together. Member feedback has been edited for length and clarity.
Our yoga instructor challenged us to find inner peace. I found it faster than anyone. After 4 seconds, I stood up and screamed, "I found Nirvana! I win!" They asked me to leave. I guess they don't respect winning. Bet365 does, though. New customers get $365 in bonus bets just for betting $10. Namaste, losers. Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Live, local, and still slightly drunk.
I'm not drunk, all right? I just have a speech impediment.
This is Fan Sports Sunday.
There's something kind of heartbreaking about how clever social media is, because whatever joke you could possibly want to come up with, you're just kind of defeated knowing that social media is going to beat you to it.
Right.
So Jacob Reimer sticks around with us, by the way. There's an updated list of nicknames for Robbie Avila for SLU. Of course, the hallmark ones were Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Larry Nerd, Milk Chamberlain, stuff like that. This new one that's been added to the mix that there are two. These are cracking me up. Shane Gillis Alexander that's the best one. And then how about Marshmallow Anthony? That's great, man. Like, whatever jokes you could possibly come up with. The shame of it all is that the internet's going to beat you to it, but that's okay. It's all here for our entertainment. Jacob,
he got done dirty by Mara yesterday on that Larry Bird move. I feel like that's what he's like more known for now, is falling for that.
Well, look, man, SLU played so well against Georgia, like unbelievably well. And Reimer just told you, as he sticks around with us, that was his favorite 22-point blowout ever because SLU played so well. How far, and I'm partial to Josh Schertz, by the way, because my brother played for him in D2. How far do you think Schertz can take SLU? And how long do you think he's going to be there? Because he just signed an extension, but we all know how extensions work in college sports.
I need a gong right there for that your brother played for Josh Schertz.
I might be able to give you one. You talk. I'm just going to interrupt you with it.
I think Josh Schertz is one of the best mid-major coaches. Like, there we go. No, I think he's one of the great mid-major coaches. He's been continually built great programs, and he's a great mind. It was so cool to see that matchup with Dusty May because they said going into it, those two literally know everything about each other and their systems and their schemes and just coaches in general. Like, I feel like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he were to build the next Gonzaga at St. Louis. He just got his extension there. Unless he were to get bought out and I don't know, maybe find his way to Chapel Hill with what sounds like to be going down there, or just somewhere else. If he decides to stick it out at St. Louis, I think he could become the next Mark Few at Gonzaga. That's how great of a coach he is to me.
What do you think about what I'm seeing a lot of people complain about on social media is the backloading of the games where you don't have two games going on at once until you get to like that maybe the second half of the third game going into the fourth game? Like, why don't they just like have these tip off like one game an hour or something like that?
Yeah, I understand it. I feel like I'm in the minority where I love the standalone games in the round of 32 to start the day because like you can just be, first of all, just midday college basketball. There's not much better than that. And especially when you can get it in a standalone version where all eyes can just be on that. Like, I like it. I think it's a cool thing. And then, of course, then when you're at late at night and what you had last night, your head is just spinning all over the place with like what was going on with Gonzaga in Texas, with Texas pulling off the upset, and then Vandy in Nebraska delivering an all-time classic, and then High Point challenging Arkansas. Like, I get like you want to kind of at night focus in on one of those, and people are going to be out and about and everything, so may not catch them unless they're at the bar and they have all the games on. But I love the standalone in the afternoon. I think that's just a vibe thing for me, is like I love just sitting on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon and just chilling and watching college basketball.
Well, I'm telling you, someone who wakes up at 3:30 to do the morning show, there is zero chance that I see the end of Texas Tech and Bama that tips off at 9:45.
And that's going to be a great game too. Like, both teams love to shoot it. It's going to be up and down. You got Christian Anderson versus LeBaron Philon, two of the best, the two best sophomore guards in college basketball, and likely going to end up being lottery picks next year. Like, it does stink that that's not until 9:45 tonight. But I mean, if you're a sicko like me, then you'll stick it out and stay up for it.
All right, two questions about the research triangle, and I'll space them out because I think two-part questions are terrible. First one, North Carolina, article after article is being written that Hubert Davis and North Carolina are going to have to figure out where they're going to go, if they're going to stick together or separate at some point this next week. Do you think the concern level for Hubert Davis is warranted?
I think absolutely. It's just been a roller coaster ride, and it sounds like it's going to come to an end with what I've been reading. I mean, you get to the NCAA tournament barely squeaking in his first year. You have that magical run where you end Coach K's career. You have a 15-point lead in the national championship game then, and blow that. And it was kind of just then the writing on the wall there of what's to come is like, yeah, you're going to have these kind of crazy historic blown leads. They've never been fully capable of like having a stress-free closeout of a big time opponent. Everything's kind of gotten a little sketchy until the last few minutes. And then you're the preseason number one. The next year you miss the tournament. You're a 1 seed the following year. He's the coach of the year in the ACC, and you get bounced in the Sweet 16. It was a tough draw to begin with, but that's a conversation for another day. And then last year you barely squeak in because of Bubba Cunningham being on the selection committee. You find a way in, but it's back-to-back first-round losses, and that's not the standard at North Carolina. And it's crazy because if they were playing last night and they held on, we're not having this conversation today. If they hold on and beat VCU, because he had the crutch of Caleb Wilson's out, and you don't have to worry about like you're losing a top 5 pick, but you have the shot then of getting on to the next round. And if you told me coming into the year that he would have beaten Duke, Kansas, and Kentucky in the same year, and we're having this conversation of him being fired, I would not have believed you.
All right, so we're all playing the Spider-Man meme game in here, trying to figure out whose computer just sent out the notification over the air, but that's okay. We got it. And then staying there in the research triangle, let's go to Duke. You already cited in the last segment that Jon Scheyer is for your money, one of the best coaches left available. They in the first round, they almost lose to Siena. They're down, I think it was 11 at halftime. And then in the second round, they open up a can on TCU. Do you think that the TCU game gave you the confidence that they're back to normal already?
Well, and I felt like that the TCU game was a little injustice on what it truly was, like, because TCU was out physicaling them for majority of the game, and then you had the missed goaltend call, the egregious one that should have been called, and then Jamie Dixon getting teed up, and it just snowballed from there, and they just opened it up to, like, it just sucked all the life out of TCU. I felt that TCU was being the more physical team, and against Duke in that front court, that's what you have to do, and that's where I feel like if they get matched up with a Michigan State or something like that in the Elite Eight, like, you saw it in this year in East Lansing where it came down to the wire. Duke still prevailed, but they got out physical, I felt like. And I did see something put out that 2019 Virginia, they were down by 11 or so against Gardner-Webb as a 1-16, and then they rolled in their round of 32 matchup. So it's kind of setting up perfectly here for Duke to get on. But, I mean, their path isn't going to be easy. You're going to get Kansas or St. John's, which – I know Isaiah's on St. John's, but I want to see Darren Peterson advance.
Yeah,
I want to see Kansas and those guys. But then you're likely going to get a Michigan State or a UConn or a UCLA. And so, like, to get to Indy for them, it's definitely not going to be easy, and they're banged up to begin with. It'll be interesting for sure what happens with them, but I think what you saw at the end of the game yesterday can kind of definitely springboard them on this stretch run.
I want to ask you about the second game today, Kentucky and Iowa State. Joshua Jefferson's out for Iowa State, and I feel like there are segments of the Kentucky fan base that are not happy with Mark Pope. If he loses this game, how hot do you think his seat gets, and what do you think the chances of that happening is if they lose to, or the chances of them losing to Iowa State today, I should say?
I think his seat will definitely be hot. I don't think it'll warrant a firing after this year. I would be stunned if that happens. Just because, like, it's only year 2 for him, but like they were expected to be a top 10 team all year. They've been battling injuries all season, but still, it's not the Kentucky standard to be a 7 seed and go to the brink with Santa Clara and beat them in overtime. I mean, I think it's going to be a fantastic game today, but if anybody can get a group of guys to lock in and just thrown out there to play against Kentucky, it's TJ Otzelberger. So I wouldn't put it past Iowa State to win this game today. But for Kentucky fans, like, it's definitely going to be a make it or break it year for Mark Pope, I think, next year. If they don't get a high seed, they were a 3 seed last year. If you're not a top 1 or 2 seed next year with what the resources and the classes that Kentucky can put together, if you don't make an Elite Eight run, then that could be it for Mark Pope at Kentucky. I wouldn't be shocked.
Final question for you, and we're going to talk about this a little bit later in the show, so help us lay the foundation for it. This beef between the power conference schools and the mid-majors about regular season games and teams not agreeing to play each other, are the power schools intentionally jobbing the mid-major schools and kind of boxing them out so that they can't get their rankings high enough to play in the tournament?
Yeah, I think definitely.
Oh, what a bad time to cut out.
I mean, because they are capable of doing. And you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you. We got you now.
Okay. I think that's definitely a case for sure. A reasoning why you're not seeing these matchups between some of the quality mid-major opponents is because if like a High Point were to pick off a Wisconsin during the regular season, then that greatly impacts Wisconsin's resume, and it lowers their net rating and what their seed could be. So I feel like that's definitely a case. But for the power conferences, I think it would be great to have that happen, because if you do lose one of those in the early season, you can go on a run then, and like it sets you up to where you know what you're going to get in the NCAA tournament against some of these high major or high mid-major teams that you are prepared to avoid that upset. I think it'd be great for college basketball if you see like the Miamis playing against the Kentucky, or playing against a Blue Blood or something like that, a High Point playing against a North Carolina. That would be great for the sport. And if the upset happens, it's cool. It sucks for the team and it hurts their metrics, but I feel like it then sets you up for the path down the road.
All right, Reimer, you're the man. We appreciate you. Thanks for taking 2 segments for us. And tell Nora we said hello.
She was watching us. I got a video that she was locked in, so I will definitely.
You got a video from inside the house? You text your wife inside the house?
Well, I'm upstairs and they're hanging out downstairs right now.
My dad doesn't like that. That's something that he would never put up with, is texting inside the house, because that's like way too 21st century for him.
My mom would text me and I would yell at her for doing it.
Oh, really?
Yes, I didn't like it.
No, I mean, Reimer was he was in his home studio, so it's a little bit different. Jacob, we appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you guys. Games today.
All right, so the games are getting underway in about 10 minutes. Purdue and Miami, that'll be on 10 TV. Check that one out. Coming up next, we'll get around to the topic that we meant to talk about at one point in time. Did the 8-9 loss for Ohio State impact the expectations of the program? Did they meet expectations? Did they fall short? We'll rap about it next. Stick around, Fan Sports Sunday.
Question from a listener: do you dopes ever get tired of talking about Ohio State? No. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
I started my first business when I was 12, mowing lawns for about $5 a yard. I learned if you do the job right, people trust you and customers care that you show up and do what you say you're going to do. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner of Don's Garage Doors. From garage door repairs to upgrades, we show up, we stand behind every job. We only use the best parts, and spring's guaranteed to last a lifetime. When you care about the people you serve, you work harder and it shows. Call Don's Garage Doors today or schedule online at donsgaragedoors.com.
When it comes to garage doors, no one knows more. At Great Lakes Hyundai, the savings are so good.
Take your shot to save at Great Lakes Hyundai. Shoot the hoop to get extra savings on your new car purchase. On top of big shot savings like 0% financing on 26 Hyundai Santa Fe's and Tucson's for up to 5 years. Plus, make no payments for 90 days. It's the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Dublin or Columbus or GLakesHyundai.com. With Pro Credit, some customers may not qualify. First to cruise during no payment period. New Hyundais come equipped with owner assurance and America's Best warranty. 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Offer ends 3/31.
Need a roof you can count on? Ramos Roofing has protected homes and businesses throughout Ohio for almost 20 years. Whether it's a leaky roof, storm damage, new siding, or new gutters to protect your foundation, Ramos Roofing delivers quality materials, professional installation, and honest service every time. Get your free roof or exterior assessment today and ask about Ramos Roofing's no-interest financing options. Call 614-761-7663 or visit online at ramosroofingohio.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SPEED to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SPEED for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SPEED for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Thanks to your support, the nonprofits VetTix and First Tix have given away tens of millions of tickets and counting to vets currently serving military, the immediate family of troops killed in action, and our brave current and former first responders. These tickets are a meaningful way to say thank you to America's heroes. And now we want you to be part of the mission. Got extra tickets to concerts, games, or special events? Or want to see if you qualify? We want you to go to vettix.org and firsttix.org today. Give something to those who gave.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios, driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning, I'm Isaiah Jacob. The Blue Jackets continue the hot streak with a 5-2 win over Seattle yesterday. The Jackets went up 3-1 in the first. Cole Sillinger and Zach Werenski led the way for the CBJ with 3 points each. They play the Islanders today at 7. Coverage begins right here on the Fan at 6. In the NBA, the Cavs are also in the win column yesterday, 111-106 against the New Orleans Pelicans. Donovan Mitchell went for 27. Cleveland has Orlando up next on Tuesday. Yesterday in the NCAA tournament, we kicked off with the Lady Bucks Wildcats scoring a win against Howard 75-54. They face the 6th seed Notre Dame tomorrow at 4 p.m. And then on the men's side, Texas, the 11th seed, upset 3 seed Gonzaga 74-68. A good day for the Big Ten as Illinois, Nebraska, Michigan, and Michigan State all advance to next weekend. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
During weekend programming, pants are optional.
Look at my butt!
However, leather chairs may have been a bad choice. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
We'll get to the secret subject at some point. We got plenty of Buckeye stuff in this hour to take care of, so I'm not going to give you a time because I don't know. It was going to be 12:30, but now I don't know. But I'll start with this. Whether you win an 8-9 game or lose an 8-9 game, I think has zero bearing on where you are as a program. That's just me. I don't know if either of you two, Dylan Gonzalez, Isaiah Jacob, hello, I'm Cole Bartimas. I don't know if either of you two agree with that. I think a 2-point game in an 8-9 matchup where we basically get the result of, hey, this was supposed to be one of the most evenly matched first-round games that we could possibly concoct, and that's the exact result that we got. In terms of just like the state of the program, whether you win that game or lose that, obviously you want to win. If your favorite team's playing, you want to win. If you're taking the time to watch the game, you want to win. If you're taking the time to coach the game or play the game, you want to win. I don't think that there is some like overarching takeaway of like, oh my goodness, they went to the tournament, but they didn't win a game. It's like, well, they were already put in an 8-9 game, so that kind of tells you where they were.
Right.
It was a close game. The team that beat them got pistol whipped by the 1 seed in the second round. So whether they won or lost that game, I think is actually inconsequential. I'm not saying it doesn't matter because there's short term and there's long term. And so I'm attacking this initially at a long term perspective. The short term is obvious. I don't even need to state it. Like, you're ticked off that your team closed, a 13 or 15-point gap, and not only closed the gap, but actually took the lead.
Yep.
And then gave it back at the end of the game. And Lord knows that the final play of the game will be discussed. And
right.
we'll get there when we get there. So the short term is obvious. Long term, I really think whether Bruce Thornton hit a half-court shot or not has zero bearing on the state of the program. So that's just me. So I'll start it there. You guys react how you want to, but I think whether they won or lost that game doesn't necessarily indicate a shift in the direction of the program one way or the other.
So for me, in a society where hot takes are popular, I'm essentially going to tell you guys that I'm going to give you a long answer to say I don't know how I feel about this.
Okay.
It's going to be a very devil's advocate, both sides of the argument type of
And
answer.
I can't wait to hear you argue against yourself. Go for it, because I do it too.
Yes, I'm very conflicted because on one hand, when we have expectation conversations at the end of the season, my mind first goes to what was said team's expectations before the season. And for this team, I thought, so coming off last year, they essentially probably needed a couple of Big Ten tournament wins last year to make the tournament. They were very bubblicious, as I would like to say. They ended up getting no wins in the Big Ten tournament, and they missed the tournament. They bring a lot of the same core back. They bring in Tilly and Brandon Knoll from the portal, and those are nice additions, but neither one are stars in any right. So I thought, okay, they're going to be about where they are last year, this year, but seeing as they're bringing back the core of Bruce, Mobley, and Devin Royal, with those additions, it's like, okay, I would like to see them make the tournament. That's where this team should be. About midway through the season, they're on the bubble. Then towards the end of the season, they get quote unquote hot. And the reason why I say quote unquote hot is because the teams that they played when they won at the end of the regular season, none of them were playing well. And you can even throw Iowa in there that beat them in 17 at Iowa City. Iowa lost 5 of their last 6. When Ohio State beat Purdue, Purdue looks really good now. When they played them, they lost 4 of 6. Penn State stunk the whole year, and Indiana stunk really bad the last 2 weeks of the season. Those are the teams that Ohio State beat to close the season, which made a lot of the fan base think, oh man, they're on a 4-game winning streak or a 3-game winning streak to end the season. This team is playing well at the right time, yada, yada, yada. I think it had something to do with the competition they were playing that made us have these expectations that we shouldn't have had. But that's neither here or there. Now we get to the reality. They get into the tournament. They're not a bubble team. They're a solidified tournament team. They make the tournament. They're an 8 seed. They're playing a 9th seed. That's the most crapshoot game of the tournament. It just makes sense. They're the 2 seeds closest together, 8 and 9. You never know who's going to win an 8 or 9 game. So to answer your question, like long term, yeah, whether they won this game or not, it doesn't matter. But once you get to the game, you're on the winning streak that you're on. You're playing TCU. You're the favorite. Once you get to it in the moment, like you said, you want to see your team win the game. And they were playing well to end the season, and they were favorites to win the game. So in the end, you want to see them win the game.
I agree. You want to see them win, but at the end of the day, they were losing yesterday. I know they were losing yesterday, and I knew it ended there. But I will say, if there was one reason that I really wanted them to win, obviously, everybody can say we wanted Bruce to see another game. We all love Bruce here in Columbus. But I would love for Diebler to have just ripped the monkey off his back immediately and got the tournament win. I think that's something that will probably be talked about as we head into our next March Madness run is how will Deebs be in the tournament and just prepping for one more game. I think the experience, because right now, there's so in football, and we used to talk about this all the time before NIL era, is your team, are they a veteran team? Have they been in the playoffs before? Have they made a run before? That's not so much of an importance anymore with the NIL era, just because there's so many guys leaving early. Teams switch up constantly. You don't really keep a core. But the coach is the one consistent, like Tom Izzo. We talk about how great Tom Izzo is in March. It's hard to bet against a Tom Izzo team. For Jake Diebler, he's now 0-1 in March Madness. It would have been nice to start 1-0 and just have 2 games right off the rip to where we can say, okay, he's done this before. He's had success before. And so the next run would be a little bit more confident. But at the end of the day, what's 1 win?
He's had what before?
You said what?
He's had what before?
1 win.
Success.
Success.
I was about to say for me saying that I sent my friend news, the person who's getting on me. That was dang close.
He's had success before.
I heard success and I didn't know what that was. So I sent my friends NEWS news. But to respond to your point, I'm someone who thinks that in sports, like it takes steps. I don't think you have to get it all done at once. And so the fact, and this isn't what people want to hear because it's still fresh. It happened a couple days ago. We're still in the middle of, we're not in the middle, but we're at the end of the first weekend. So I'm not trying to like, hey guys, the sky isn't falling. Like people are ticked off and that's fine. And I'm not trying to talk them out of it, but achieving the step of making the tournament in a real way, by the way, not being a play-in team that won a game and then, got an 11 seed and then lost to a 6. I would not have counted that, as we've established earlier in the show. So I think that in terms of expectations, I don't think they are currently meeting program expectations.
Oh, really?
No, because I still think that, like T-Bone laid it out. He had like a whole math equation for how, like, here's what you need to do in a 10-year period. This is how many years you need to be in the Final Four. This is how many years you need to be in the tournament. I'll let you miss it once. And so I didn't think it was, I didn't think it was out of bounds. So in that sense, you're not as powerful as you should be, which I would agree with that. But I don't think that a program needs to get it all done all at once. So just taking the step of making the tournament, getting in as an auto bid and not being some bubble team that had to play their way in, that's good enough for me for now. Now, I say that with the objective for those program being building upon this year. So it has to keep trending in that direction. So if they do the exact same thing next year and they lose another 8-9 game, I'm going to say, well, you didn't improve. So is that fair?
I think that's fair.
Okay.
I don't know.
Because I got my notes. I got my Dylan's notes. It says they improved from last year based on expectations before the season.
Yes.
And I got a quote. I would like to see them make the tournament. They did.
Yeah.
So it's a step in the right direction. The job's not done. That's a great coaching line.
Yes.
If Diebler's listening right now, he's going to go in there all off season. Hey, job's not done. Job's not finished. But they took a step in the right direction. I'm not going to hold Ohio State accountable to exercise all of their demons in one off season, especially when by the end of the year, I think you gave Tilly and Noel a little bit more credit than I would have given them. But
I mean,
they're not Bradshaw and Stewart.
Right. They were
which
better,
isn't necessarily
I
a
guess.
compliment, but like that's the lowest of the low of compliments I could offer them. But we'll discuss more of this. And a former Buckeye hates you. Okay, that's what you need to know. And we'll talk about it next, coming up on 97.1.
Wake up with the Fan. Eat lunch with the Fan. Go to bed with the Fan. Dream about the Fan. Then change your sheets. Gross.
Ew, you guys are gross, but stick around in case I don't find anyone else.
The Fan.
Don't miss the Floor Madness outlet sale at Right Rug Flooring. Save up to 80% on truckloads of floors and more, including tiles starting at 19 cents a square foot and a massive selection of laminate, luxury vinyl, and carpet, all drastically reduced. Save up to 80% during the Floor Madness outlet sale at Right Rug Flooring on Poth Road in Whitehall. 24-month special financing is available with approved credit. Hurry, the Floor Madness outlet sale ends March 30th. Dealers welcome.
With Aetna, I always get a quick answer, and I don't have to search on the internet. They go above and beyond to help me with whatever I need.
Those words from a real Aetna Medicare Advantage member speak to why U.S. News & World Report named us a best Medicare Advantage company. Because we show up on calls with members and doctors' offices when requested. We show up with access to convenient care options. We show up for you. Because that's how healthier happens together. Member feedback has been edited for length and clarity.
Hey folks, it's Austin Ward here.
And it's Berm from the Austin and Berm Show.
Berm and I have both done Awaken 180, which honestly should tell people something right there.
Right. It tells you that if it can work for you and me, it can work for anybody.
Because neither one of us has exactly been out here living or were living like a fitness influencer.
No, not unless you count fitness fast food tacos in my mouth.
You treated fast food like it was a love language.
I loved it and I still do.
And look, that's fair, but that's also why Awaken 180 works for people listening right now. You don't have to be perfect. You don't even have to know what you're doing.
No, what you need is a plan. You need someone to help bring you along, and Awaken 180 does that. They tell you what to eat, when to eat, how to eat, and how to make it fit your life.
I lost 50 pounds with Awaken 180, then another 5 in free maintenance.
For me, it was 35. I'm in maintenance, and I'm under 200 pounds for the first time in 25 years.
This isn't just for some tiny group of people who already have it all figured out.
Nope, it works for real people with busy lives who are on the go just like us.
You know, if you're just tired of carrying that weight around, do what we did. It sounds like a lot of people out there can do exactly what Awaken 180 did for us.
Yeah, go to awaken180weightloss.com now.
Hey, it's Matty Ice. March is here. McDaniel GM Superstore in Marion is rolling out 26 Chevy Silverado 1500s with below supplier pricing for everyone. That means savings up to $12,000 off MSRP, or lease a brand new Silverado for $279 a month for 24 months with $3,998 due at signing. Rules and restrictions apply. See dealer for details. The McDaniel GM Superstore has been family owned for over 100 years. They're just off Route 23095 in Marion, or visit McDanielGMSuperstore.com. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
The Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus is the place to be for all the basketball action. Watch every game at once on 2 video walls spanning 50 feet, plus over 30 TVs. Come show off your jump shot in our King of the Court drawings and take home memorabilia from a Cleveland basketball legend. We've also got unbeatable game day food and drinks all season long. Guarantee your spot. Reserve a table with up to $300 in dining credits at HollywoodColumbus.com. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Get Eco.
ECO. Hey, Jerry, you know how we remind people not to be a sump pump grump this time of year?
I sure do. If people's sump pumps aren't pumpy, they sure can get grumpy.
And down in the dumpy.
But our $89 sump pump inspection can replace all that sump pump grumpiness with happiness.
Even if it doesn't rhyme.
Get Eco.
ECO. Our expert sump pump plumbers will make sure your sump pump is working to spec and ready to pump. We'll even do a camera inspection of your downspout drainage system to make sure there aren't any backups causing problems down the line.
And turn your sump pump grump into a flow-it-all, know-it-all.
Get Eco.
ECO. Jerry, I'm starting to think not everything we do has to rhyme.
But rhymes help people remember things they like, Aaron. I mean, you like Hokey Pokey, don't you?
I do like the Hokey Pokey.
Get Eco.
ECO. Eco plumbers, electricians, and sump pump technicians.
Join Rothman and Ice every Thursday at 2:30 for Gold Jacket Thursday.
Presented by the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
A new Hall of Famer joins the show every week. But not OJ, because he's dead and probably a murderer. The Fan.
Your mornings are jam-packed. So if you're going to add anything, make it your favorite bite from Tim Hortons. Buy any size beverage and add a daily baked donut for $1, a tasty bagel for $2, or a freshly cracked hot breakfast sandwich for just $3. It's the best way to add more to your morning. The 1-2-3 menu, only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, must ask for offer in restaurant. Tax extra exclusions and terms apply at timhortons.com/offer-terms.
Menards has all the tools and fasteners you need to finish your home improvement project. Whether you need standard nails for general construction or specialty nails for specific applications, you'll find them here. New Fast collated nails are made in the USA with the highest quality steel. Check out our entire selection of New Fast collated nails and view our weekly flyer on menards.com for more great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We are looking at a mix of clouds and sunshine here for your Sunday, but it's going to be a very warm one as we reach the mid-80s for the afternoon, calling for a high around 84 degrees with a record high being 85 set back in 2012. Now we are going to be tracking a cold front building in, and that's going to kick off some showers and thunderstorms later on this evening. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Aaron White here on 97.1 The Fan.
We are your radio home for the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. We may have a bit of a football problem. Oh, yeah. The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Sports talk, weekend style. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
Isaiah, I didn't take it too easy on the Buckeyes in the last segment, did I?
That was fair.
Thank you. For whatever reason, I got the sense from you that I was taking it too easy on.
I'm very, like I said earlier, very conflicted on this.
No, I get it.
I got in an argument with T-Bone and Tyvis on the morning show about 3 months ago, not quite, when the football team season ended.
Okay.
And we had this conversation with them, and their take was the team didn't meet expectations, more so T-Bone than Tyvis, saying like, hey, like quarterfinal exit or whatever it was, don't want to be seeing that.
Your first playoff game.
And I said, well, if before the season, when they were replacing all these starters off of a national championship team, if I told you that they had a undefeated regular season and made it to the second round of the college football playoff, would you take that? And T-Bone, whose expectations are through the roof every single year, said, no, we need better than that. But I thought, realistically, coming off of a national championship season, if I told you they were going to win 12 games, however way they came, you would have taken that. And that's why, in my mind, they exceeded expectations. And what happened was as we saw the season go along, we saw them beat Texas. We saw this defense be arguably the best defense in program history. We saw Julian Sayin have a Heisman finalist season. We saw Jeremiah Smith be Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate be Carnell Tate. And then somewhere along the way, we moved the goalposts on the team.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that it's not okay to do that, but like I said earlier, every time I, in my mind, have at the end of the year, did the team meet the expectations? By default, I automatically go back to what were the expectations in the beginning of the year.
And I think that's the best way to do it. However, there's no defined parameters for which one is the best. Even though I agree with you, I think that's the better way to do it. I can't necessarily hold it against anybody. And this is a general point, regardless of Ohio State. Just the concept of debating a team's success based off of regular season or preseason expectations or midseason expectations. Because even though I do think that if we make an opinion about a team before a season, that we shouldn't just let go of that. So whatever comes our way, we should be understanding of what took place the first time. But like, as you get more information, you can update your opinion, and you do update your opinion. And so that's like a sports argument that is never going to have a winner. Because if you're having if one guy's debating, well, I felt this way preseason and look how it turned out. And then somebody says, yeah, but I didn't know preseason that blah, blah, blah. Like, you can do it in both directions. You could say for Ohio State, you could say that I would have said this. You could say for Ohio State football this past 2025 season, you could say after how much they had to replace on the defense and the offense, I never anticipated Ohio State would have been that dominant, looking like the championship team the year before. That's also another thing, is that once you win the championship, like, Are we going to really throw a fit over a season the next year where they make the playoffs and don't? Like, you can't win it all every single year.
The members of the Lunatic Fringe want that.
I know, but here's what they would say if they were sitting in this studio. If the Lunatic Fringe were in the studio, they'd say midway through the season, Ohio State looked like the standalone best team in the entire nation.
Yes.
And I'd say, well, you're right about that. And so they would say, so why shouldn't I expect them to win it all? Like, seal the deal. So that's a fair point, but like the sliding scale of expectations about a sports team for like Ohio State exceeded expectations because all of their backups who now became first-year starters, I think outplayed expectations for what a first-year starter should look like.
Yes. So
they played up to their talent, so they didn't let the inexperience kind of hinder them. You could say, for a baseball example, the Atlanta Braves are a really, really, really talented baseball team. Last year, they had all 5 starting pitchers end up on the 60-day injured list. So they can't maximize their abilities because, well, we didn't know preseason that they were going to lose every single starting pitcher.
Right.
And so that is something, and injuries makes it a little bit different, but that's just something where, like, no one's ever going to win that argument.
Yeah, because, like, to bring it back to, like, the basketball team now, it's like before the season, I feel like most members of the fan base would have said, okay, if this team makes the tournament, I'm happy with that. And that's what Jake Diebler did. But he kind of became a victim of his own success, getting hot, not being a bubble team, being a solidified team, being an 8 seed. And then once they got to that point, it was like, okay, now I want to see them win a game. But in November, that wasn't where the goalposts were, but that's where they ended up for some people in March.
They were a 9 seed. They were projected to be the 9th best team in the Big Ten before the season started. They finished 8th. And then the highest they were ever projected by Joe Lunardi in the brackets was a 7 seed. That was very, very early in the season. I think when he did his first projection, which I think was back in November, they were projected as a 7 seed. And then as the season waned on, that kind of dipped off for a while. And then towards the end of the season, when they got hot, they jumped back up into the 8 seed spot. So I would say they were on par with expectations. Got in, they were right around the 8-9 spot in the Big Ten, and then right around that 7-8 spot in the tournament. I mean, that's what you expected. And I said earlier today, from the first day of the season, no one thought that Ohio State was going to contend for a national championship in basketball. No one thought they were going to be there pushing for a Final Four because of the roster. And I can say that Ohio State should be pushing for Final Fours, and Ohio State should be pushing for Elite Eights, but if you don't have the roster, you don't have the roster. So my expectations for this season were make the tournament. Let's see what happens when you get in there. I would love for the program to get back to where it was, but right now I can't say Jake Diebler, this was a failure because they weren't a national championship team. His roster wasn't a national championship roster when the season started.
100% true. Now I'm gonna put you. I love this question that I got. Something that you said triggered a thought in me. Would you feel differently if Siena beat Duke? If Siena were waiting for you in the second round?
I don't think I would feel different.
We didn't know that at the time. By the way, Ohio State versus TCU took place before Duke and Siena. Right. As I adjust my microphone.
I don't think I would feel different, but there's people out there that are going to be like, oh man, this team missed an opportunity to make the Sweet 16.
Yep, if TCU took it to Siena, there's no question it would hurt more.
But I'd be sick. I said that at halftime.
I
was watching the game, and at halftime when Siena was up, I was like, man, if Siena pulls this out, I'm going to be sick because Ohio State could have won that game. But my overarching thoughts on the season and how well I think they didn't come down to if Siena or Duke won and if Ohio State would have won a game in the tournament because they met the expectations I expected. But if Siena had won, I would have been sick.
It's luck of the draw, too. Like, sometimes the tournament breaks your way. Like, the year I think Florida Atlantic made the Final Four, I think they had something weird. Like, they were like a 9 seed.
They were a 9.
And then wasn't like Kansas State a 6 seed or something who they played in the Elite? So like they didn't even have to play a 2. Like their draw should have had them like play the number 1 seed in the second round and then play the 2 seed, but they didn't have to play the 2 seed. So like sometimes stuff just breaks your way. But that is kind of like if Siena, and we're talking about hypothetical obviously, if Siena had beaten Duke, obviously we all think Duke is better and would win. If that were a 7-game series, they would have won that series probably 4 out of 5. Or I guess in real life, it would have been 4-0 because Siena probably lost the one game that they would have had close. A lot of other games would have been blowouts.
Right.
But Like, would Siena, if they had beaten Duke, would Siena have earned the credibility to just say, hey, man, like, we're around a 32 team, regardless of, like, there are 30. Basically, could Siena have said, we're one of the 32 best teams in the country?
I mean,
if they had beaten Duke.
This is off the top of my head. I could be wrong, but all the 16 seeds that have won, it's been twice, they don't go to the Sweet 16.
True. But what I'm saying is if Ohio State, if TCU blitzkrieged Siena in the second round, would we think differently about Ohio State being like, man, you had a Sweet 16 opportunity sitting right in front of you and you didn't take it, which
there would be
you wouldn't have known, which obviously that in order to beat Siena, you would have had to beat TCU first. So, like, it doesn't make sense like that, but just the thought process of fans, if Siena beat Duke in that game that followed you, oh, Buckeye fans would have been sick.
I would say maybe like a good 30 to 40% of fans would be like, man, you botched a shot at the Sweet 16 if that would have been the case.
But then my thoughts too, we know what this team is. Like, you botched a shot at getting 2 more games, but realistically, we know what's happening in the Sweet 16 once you get matched up. Because it's one thing to be a Sweet 16 team. If you're a real Sweet 16 team, then you have a chance to get to the Elite Eight, to the Final Four. Like, if you're a real Sweet 16 team, if Ohio State got to play Siena, got to the Sweet 16, it would have been fun, but we know where the road's ending.
But college basketball is the only sport where we do this, where it's like, oh yeah, Sweet 16. Like, good job, guys. Elite Eight. Woo! Good job, guys. Final Four. When we mention college basketball coaches, we mention their championships and their Final Four appearances. We don't do that for any other sport.
And we should. At least in the Final Four. I think and we're destroying the clock, but we'll figure it out. We'll talk about Mark Titus for the last half hour of this hour, and then we'll have one more on the show. But I think that if you lose your conference championship, even in the NFL, take for example, I think if you make the Final Four in the NFL, that's a big deal to me. Now, because of what happened like 7 or 8 years ago, now all of a sudden it's only cool to have GOAT conversations. So no one's going to care about GOAT conversations when it comes to, hey, we made the AFC Championship game and lost. But, like,
it's
that is a big deal.
Which I hate.
I know. All right, look, we'll talk about Mark Titus next. Stick around 2 minutes, 97.1.
Common Man here for Weed Man. I talk to you about Weed Man every year. Why? Simple. Number 1, I use it. Number 2, it works. You want to get those lawn roots thick, baby, because when that happens, they resist weeds, disease, and insects, and they're using top-of-the-line stuff. We're talking golf course quality. Weed Man is locally owned and operated by Corbin and Audrey. They will take care of you. Proudly serving Central Ohio and our Dayton friends. Call your local office, 614-733-3747, weedman.com.
Forget the pot of gold. Save some green at Coghlan Chevrolet. Lease a new 26 Chevy Trax, $169 a month. New 26 Equinox, lease for $229 a month. Or lease a new 26 Silverado, $359 a month. Visit CoglanChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive.
$39-month leases. Silverado 36-month lease. $39.99 due at signing plus tax, title, and license. 10,000 miles per year. 25 cents per mile over. See dealer for details. Ends 3/31/26.
The Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus is the place to be for all the basketball action. Watch every game at once on 2 video walls spanning 50 feet, plus over 30 TVs. Come show off your jump shot in our King of the Court drawings and take home memorabilia from a Cleveland basketball legend. We've also got unbeatable game day food and drinks all season long. Guarantee your spot. Reserve a table with up to $300 in dining credits at HollywoodColumbus.com. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Wounded Warrior Project helps post 9/11 veterans and their families realize what's possible. With support and resources that bring warriors together and empower them to become stronger, both inside and out.
It's possible to begin healing, to get the help you need, to find peace.
And as each warrior's needs evolve, so do we. Because these last 20 years are just the beginning. Learn more at woundedwarriorproject.org/possible.
Catch T-Bone and Tyvis weekday mornings from 6 to 9. If you're not completely satisfied, we'll rewind time and erase your brain. For real, the Fan. Your go-to destination for Buckeye football talk all year round. This is Fan Sports Sunday.
Dylan Gonzalez, you brought up a great point in the break. And it's a great point because it supports mine. Thank you very much. But the whole Buffalo Bills lost 4 Super Bowls in a row.
Yes.
As if that's not impressive that they won the AFC 4 years in a row?
Yeah, it is impressive. But I could go down the street to Yogi's in Grandview right now and ask someone what they think about the Buffalo Bills of the 90s, and they would say, choke artist, not clutch.
Ridiculous.
Losers.
I am in 4th place right now in the Yogi's bracket.
Oh, that's impressive. I'm
I
assuming
know.
there's quite a few people in it.
I know, and I'm the only one who has. It all comes down to who wins it all in the Final Four and all that stuff. So,
Right. Picking the champion is almost essential to win any bracket pool.
I believe that in the bracket pool of my friends, we got, 30 to 40 people? We got a decent amount, my friends. So we had our first loser. One of my buddies had Gonzaga winning it all, and Texas beating them last night. So we have one champion eliminated already.
He lost when he made his bracket.
Hey, Gonzaga's got a reputation for stuff that happens in March, and they followed suit. And so does Purdue. But Purdue's currently got a 21-18 lead. That's a 2-7 game on 10 TV. We are in competition with ourselves. I wonder who's winning that competition right now, us or the television. But we are here. We appreciate you. Check us out on YouTube, by the way. All right, so this whole Mark Titus thing, I've found really fascinating. We're going to spend a couple segments on this because there's going to be so much to say. So let's play the audio. I believe his show is called Mostly Hoops. Obviously, he's with Barstool, former walk-on Buckeye. Played with, I say played. I couldn't tell you how much he actually told the court because he was a walk-on, but
not a lot. But
on the Conley and Oden teams, played throughout. He was a part of the team throughout the late 2000s. I think maybe 2010 was his final year, something like that. But anyway, he had some spicy things to say about you, Buckeye fan, driving in your car right now, and we got a lot to talk about.
We have the worst fans in the world, Ohio State.
Come on.
Ohio State basketball fans are the worst fans in the world. They're the worst.
What do you mean
They're
by
literally worse because they watch football all year. They don't even pay attention to the basketball program. They like parachute in around like late January, early February. They look up the rankings, and if we're not ranked in the top 10, they're just like, everything sucks, fire everybody, this is terrible. They have no idea what they're talking about. They don't even know the names of the players, and they bitch like they want us to be a top 10 program, which I do too, but like, where's that? The reason the top 10 programs are the top 10 programs is because they carry themselves like top 10 programs 365 days a year, and the fans are invested in the program, and people are coming to the games, and the people are like studying the recruits, and like they pour their passion into this. They don't just like pop in and say like, oh, we're in the tournament. Okay, I'll sit down and watch this game, and then we lose the game, and you're like, fire the coach. It's absurd.
Okay, that's a lot.
Yes.
So let's compartmentalize this. Let's just take the first chunk of this.
They watch football all year. They don't even pay attention to the basketball program. They like parachute in around like late January, early February. They look up the rankings, and if we're not ranked in the top 10, they're just like, everything sucks, fire everybody, this is terrible.
Let's start there.
All right.
That's true.
Yes, I agree.
Now, before T-Bone hops in and says, hey, I got my BTN Plus subscription. I've seen that a couple times.
Let him live.
Before he jumps in and swoops in, all I got to say is, we got to be able to speak generally. We got to be able to speak generally because we don't have time to take care of every single case possible. So I'm speaking generally. I'm not speaking about every single person individually. So if you're like, hey, I got my BTN Plus. Okay, cool. I watched them beat up on Western Michigan too. I watched the first game against Indianapolis too.
Yeah, me and you in person.
We were there. We were there for that for sure. Okay, let's be honest. The general Buckeye fan absolutely watches football all year and then parachutes in for the basketball team in January, February. There is no question.
Yes. I mean, okay, so here's the thing. I feel like the three of us on the show right now, we watch Ohio State basketball because we enjoy basketball. We like watching basketball. I feel like obviously basketball is my favorite sport to watch. I understand that the casual person in the country and in this market, football is their thing. Yeah. Okay. So I thoroughly enjoy this program on its own. But there is this thing where there's a segment of the fan base, and I think it's a pretty large segment of it, that is constantly comparing the football team to the basketball team, and it's not fair. It's like the basketball team is irrelevant because they're not as good as the football team, because they're not a top 5 team every year, because they're not a national championship contender every year. And therefore, it's like not worth watching to some people or not worth paying attention to. And you brought up the expectations that T-Bone tweeted out, and I agree with these. I'm going to go through them real quickly.
Go for it.
So he said, top 25 team most years. NCAA tournament team 9 out of 10 years. Sweet 16 2 to 3 times per decade. Once a decade, a team that can make a run to the Final Four. And I completely agree with that. But I think if you say that to some people, they're like, oh, that's not a really good program because it's not one of the top basketball programs in the country and it doesn't hold a candle to the football program. And I just think if that's your perspective on it, then that's your problem.
Yeah, and I think he may even be a little bit conservative if they're going for only 2 or 3 Sweet 16 appearances a decade. That's not asking that much, especially if you're asking for just a generally good program. But I'll make this point too. As much as I'm saying that Mark Titus is absolutely correct, and he absolutely is, general Buckeye fan swoops in for basketball season once their mind is off of football. Football is the number one priority, and I promise you, football is Ross Bjork's number one priority.
Of course.
Ain't no doubt
and
about it.
It should be.
I'll give you this, though. Any school that is good at football, whether I'm talking about the AD or the donors or the fans, any school that is good at football is not caring about basketball until conference play starts in January, at best. If your school is not an Ohio State thing, you could go down south to the SEC. They love their favorite basketball schools. Yeah, like the South and, football are synonymous, and they love SEC baseball too and all that stuff. I promise you, they love basketball down there. They do not care. I promise you that they don't care about their basketball teams until football season is over.
Yeah, you're telling me.
Football's just a higher priority. If you are in some of these schools that are like labeled basketball schools, they're only labeled basketball schools because their football teams aren't any good.
Yes.
Football is king everywhere. And so if your school is really good at football, I would even, well, I don't want to get crazy. If North Carolina or Duke were Ohio State level football programs, I wouldn't be surprised if the basketball program took a backseat, but they're not.
You know what? That is a little bit of a hot take, but I get where you're coming from. It's like each school would rather be good at football.
Yeah.
So even those schools that are blue blood basketball programs, if you ask their fan base, hey, would you rather have a football national championship or a basketball national championship? I bet you most of them would rather have a football one.
Absolutely. We can take Indiana fans.
Right.
Do you think Indiana fans prioritize? I don't know when the last time they won a basketball championship was, but they've had 1 seeds in tournaments in my lifetime.
Yeah,
I know for
like
a fact.
Victor Oladipo teams.
Cody Zeller was running alongside him.
Yes.
And so those were 2 guys who were drafted in the top 5 of the draft. And so I'm basically, if you ask an Indiana fan, hey, would you give up your Fernando Mendoza football championship for the Oladipo Zeller team to have won that NCAA tournament? They'd probably say no.
Yeah, I agree.
And so I think if anybody, to respond to Mark Titus about how Buckeye basketball fans are the worst fans in the world, he's correct in the sense that they swoop in January and February. Not you, T-Bone. The general Buckeye fan swoops in January and February. But so does everybody else with their football teams any good.
Right.
Just because football is more popular than basketball. So that's what I would say to Mark Titus. We'll respond to the second half of his comment on the other side of this segment, or on the other side of his break, rather. Stick around for the next segment. We'll see you 97.1.
Big Voice Guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio's sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
Don't miss the Floor Madness outlet sale at Right Rug Flooring. Save up to 80% on truckloads of floors and more, including tiles starting at 19 cents a square foot, and a massive selection of laminate, luxury vinyl, and carpet, all drastically reduced. Save up to 80% during the Floor Madness outlet sale at Right Rug Flooring on Poth Road in Whitehall. 24-month special financing is available with approved credit. Hurry, the Floor Madness outlet sale ends March 30th. Dealers welcome.
My advisor at Plant Moran Wealth Management knows my definition of wealthy: restoring classic cars. You tinker under the hood, put the keys in the ignition, and then the moment of truth. There's nothing like it.
You have your own personal definition of wealthy. Plant Moran Wealth Management knows it takes a personal approach to get you there. Experience the difference with Plant Moran Wealth Management. Book a consultation today.
Recalculating route. Estimated arrival time. Never.
For people with nasal congestion, snoring, or sleep apnea, finding a solution feels like a never-ending road trip.
First stop, my primary doctor. Then the pharmacy. Then a sleep specialist. Then an ENT.
What if there was just one destination for all your problems?
Welcome to Advent, your one-stop solution for nasal congestion, snoring, and sleep apnea for over 20 years. Unlike many other practices, we focus exclusively on these conditions, so you get comprehensive care in one location. Over 95% of patients with severe nasal breathing issues report improvement. Plus, most insurance is accepted for our effective 20-minute in-office treatments.
You have arrived at Clear Breathing.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Need a roof you can count on? Ramos Roofing has protected homes and businesses throughout Ohio for almost 20 years. Whether it's a leaky roof, storm damage, new siding, or new gutters to protect your foundation, Ramos Roofing delivers quality materials, professional installation, and honest service every time. Get your free roof or exterior assessment today and ask about Ramos Roofing's no-interest financing options. Call 614-761-7663 or visit online at ramosroofingohio.com.
When we designed our Columbus Blue Jacket ticket plans, we designed them for fans like you. For fans who want to choose their games and their seats, and fans who need flexibility when their plans change. Columbus Blue Jacket season ticket plans. Get your tickets now at bluejackets.com.
Bacon, sausage, egg, cheese, made from scratch biscuits, fresh baked croissants, cinnamon swirl French toast. Hungry? Grab a hot UDF breakfast sandwich made in store for your morning. UDF, mornings made for you.
In the old days when people lived to be 40, you only had one option for listening to your favorite show. But now, ooh, baby, radio, podcast, the Fan app, and YouTube, just to name a few, live or on demand. You have no excuses. The Fan.
Get Eco.
ECO. Aaron?
Yeah, Jerry?
Something is wrong.
Something's wrong?
Yeah, it's definitely something.
Get Eco.
ECO. Thumping and bumping and jumping.
What is?
But it's not pumping.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Jerry?
Yeah, Aaron.
Are we talking about your sump pump?
Yeah. Isn't it great?
Isn't what great?
I like the sound of it. Sump pump. Sump pump, sump pump, sump pump.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Jerry, can you keep a secret?
Aaron, I'm as silent as a bank vault in Switzerland.
I kind of like to say it too.
Hey, I should invent a sump pump that lets you know when it's working.
How would it do that?
It would say, sump pump, sump pump, sump pump.
That's a great idea, Jerry, but a sump pump should be exactly like you.
How so?
As silent as a bank vault in Switzerland.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
Everyone needs to take care of their mental health, even running back Bijan Robinson.
When I'm on the field and feeling the pressure, I usually just take a deep breath. When I'm just breathing and seeing what's in front of me, everything just slows down. It just makes me feel great before I run the play.
Just like Bijan, we all need a strong mental game on and off the field. Make a game plan for your mental health at loveyourmindplaybook.org.
Love your mind.
Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation, the Arthur M. Blank Family Foundation, and the Ad Council.
The Fan Poll is sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub, home of award-winning pizza and 32-ounce Yuengling drafts for only $4. It's sports conversation, but with a drink and umbrella as a garnish. This is Fan Sports Sunday.
Uh-oh, Purdue just surrendered the lead. Doing what they do. So Miami, the 7th seed, has a 31-29 lead over the Boilermakers. My mom's not going to be happy. She went to Purdue and Vandy, so she already had so Purdue undergrad, Vanderbilt for law school.
Oh, nice.
And so she already had the in and out of the 3-pointer from half court against Nebraska yesterday that looked like it was going to be a game winner that wasn't. So she already had that devastation. If she loses both of her teams in back-to-back days, not going to be good for her.
I, for some reason, believe in this Purdue team, unlike the ones past. I'm not saying they're going to win the Natty or anything, but I think they'll come back today. I think we'll see them in the Elite Eight.
And then they would draw 11 seed Texas, which you think would be a favorable path as far as just going off the seeding.
Right.
Now, you can gain your credit. We were just talking about that with Duke and Siena. Like, if Siena beat Duke, well, that's got to be some credibility.
Right.
Who's to stop them from saying, hey, we're one of the 32 best teams in the country.
Right.
What do you want? It's like, well, I don't think you're better than Duke, but if you had beaten them, I would have had to have conceded, well, you earned your spot here. So who am I to argue that? But we responded to the first part of the Mike Titus bite that we aired that is going around. I'm sure Buckeye fans are quite familiar with it. We responded to the first half of that, talking about how Buckeye fans swoop in January, February, make all these declarations and act like they know what they're talking about when they don't know what they're talking about. He put it a little bit harsher than I did, but I don't think Buckeye fans don't know what they're talking about necessarily, but there's no question basketball's on the back burner until football is done and over with. So now we'll transition to the second half, and just to recap what Mark Titus had to say, this is where I think he crossed over into an area that I think is just Looney Tunes.
They have no idea what they're talking about. They don't even know the names of the damn players, and they bitch like they want us to be a top 10 program, which I do too, but like, where's that? The reason the top 10 programs are the top 10 programs is because they carry themselves like top 10 programs 365 days a year, and the fans are invested in the program, and people are coming to the games, and the people are like studying the recruits, and like they pour their passion into this. They don't just like pop in and say like, oh, we're in the tournament. Okay, I'll sit down and watch this game.
So the reason that the top 10 programs are the top 10 programs are because fans follow recruiting news. That's that's where just the rant turns into ranting for the sake of ranting.
Well,
I think the first half he was actually like making points that I think, whether you like him or not, I think are hard to argue against. That doesn't even make any sense.
I think what he's trying to say is that the programs that in basketball that are successful more years than not are the ones that have full investment in the basketball program by all parties involved 365 days a year. Like kind of the point that you were saying earlier is like the reason why basketball schools are basketball schools is because their football program isn't good. And I think that's the point he's trying to make is that most of those
like schools, you think Kansas doesn't want to be a good football program?
That's where he loses me on that. And here's what I think. People say that Ohio State could be good at basketball and football simultaneously because it's something that we have seen, and we saw it. What would that be like? Probably like 06 to maybe like 2014, we want to say, is probably like a golden era.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And the football team is simultaneously good in that era as well. The football team didn't win any national championships, but they went to 2, and they're always a 10-win plus.
Banned themselves out of one of them.
Right. So we've seen it before.
Oh, God, dude. My 13-year-old self would not have been able to handle Notre Dame losing to Ohio State in the championship.
But here is where people kind of talk about both sides of their mouth. The reason why that era between both programs is special is because it's hard to be good at football and men's basketball at the same time at that level where you're going to Final Fours. I think they went to 2 or 3 in that stretch that I just mentioned. The Greg Oden Conley team for sure, and then did Sullinger and Kraft, I think, went
2012
to one Final
did.
Four. Yeah, so
they would have lost to Kansas, the Thomas Robinson team.
I'm looking at it now.
Tyshawn Taylor.
Elite Eight, Final Four in consecutive years. That would have been
that's incredible,
right? But the reason why we're impressed with that is because it's hard. It's not the expectation. So to be like, hey, this is what we want year in and year out, that kind of like poo-poos what that era of Ohio State athletics was. And coincidentally, it's like, oh, people were invested. The year that they went to the Final Four was 2011, 2012, and that was the year that the football team stunk because of Tattoo Gate. So it was like almost easier to get behind that team because you had a subpar football season with all this losing and scandal, and then you just hopped on. All you had to do was go cross the street from the shoe to the shot, and you had a team that was capable of winning a national championship in the one year that the football program has been down in the past 30-ish years.
No, I disagree with that a little bit because there's no question 2011 for the Buckeye football team with the weird 6-6 year and Joe Bauserman starting half the games and a freshman Braxton Miller who's not really ready is starting the other half. Like that season definitely, it's almost like disregarded as like, oh, that doesn't count. And it kind of makes sense because literally every other year Buckeye football in my entire life, born in 1999,
right,
is just utter dominance, and that doesn't even look like that. And their bad years aren't even like 7-5 years. Their bad years are like 10-2. And so I don't know, because I remember in my childhood, the Buckeye basketball fandom was at like a fever pitch. And I don't think it was to pick up for the 6-6 football season. I don't, that's just not how I remember it.
That's not what I'm trying to say either. I'm just saying in that one year that they were bad, they were able to just be like, okay, we have a basketball national championship contender. And I'm saying that era is like what made it great was that you had both teams to look forward to for the most part. And I just think that it's special, and we should look at it as it being special and not the quote-unquote norm. By the way, I was looking at this wrong. They went to back-to-back Sweet 16s, then the Final Four, then the Elite Eight, which is still impressive of its own. If they were able to do that for the next 4 years, there would be no debate on how successful this program is. If Diebler should still be here, yada, 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 he would get an extension and all that. But, yeah, I just think that I just don't think that is a fair expectation to have of this team. And I think people are just like, oh, Thad Matta did it, so a coach could do it here.
Right.
And I think the fan portion of it is the silliest part, because every fan base, no matter who they are, they're all bandwagon fan bases. If Indiana continues this run for the next 10 years from now, we're going to say, oh, Indiana fans, they're bought in. They're all over IU football.
They're a football school.
They're a football school. Why?
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about how many of their fans were at the bowl games throughout the entire playoff run. I lived in Indiana. I know how much they cared about football 5 years ago. Zilch, nada, none.
They didn't.
Yeah. They did not care. Even when Michael Penix was there and they were starting to get a little bit good, there was no fever like there was this season. If Ohio State basketball the next 4 seasons, or even the past 4 seasons, had been a Sweet 16 Elite 8 team, no one would be questioning our fanhood. Because guess what? They would have given us something to be excited about.
Right.
They would have given us something to watch. No one would be talking today about our fans. In the last 10 years, we would have kept what we were doing, 100%.
It's like a chicken or the egg conversation. It's like, do you need the team to be good first for the fans and everyone to invest? Or does everyone need to invest for the team to be good?
I think there's definitely an answer to that question. I don't think that's chicken or the egg. I think the team has to be good for you to invest.
Yeah, but I mean, in order for you to have a good, especially in this era, it's like you need the backing of, NIL, and that involves people and big-time donors donating. And it's like, do we need the money first? Or it's like, okay, this team is good. Now I want to donate money.
There's a reason that when teams are bad, less people go to the games.
Of course. And so I would say this to Mark Titus. If he were sitting right here, and I understand, I understood half of his gripe. The other half just didn't make it, our fans don't know anything about the recruiting ranking. Like, who cares? Like, that has nothing to do with whether you guys beat TCU or not.
I know a lot of people know. A lot of people know Anthony Thompson's coming.
That's true.
Yeah.
Mr. Basketball, State of Ohio. Did that just happen? Or Gatorade State Player of the Year, whichever award they got. But I would say this. Mark Titus just flat out cares more about Buckeye basketball than football. I don't know. He doesn't sound like a general Buckeye fan.
Well, like you mentioned,
and
he
that's
played
fine.
For the team. He's going to be a basketball guy.
And that's perfectly fine. All I'm saying, he's talking about Buckeye basketball is the worst fans in the world. It's like Buckeye basketball fans are also Buckeye football fans. I don't know how much Mark Titus is that. I don't know. I mean, if I consume more of his content, maybe I'd have a better answer. And I'm sure that on Saturdays in the fall, I'm sure he roots for Ohio State football. But he obviously, because of his background, prioritizes basketball over football. There just aren't many Buckeye fans, period, who do that. And that's fine. Just football is a bigger deal around here. All right, we're going to find out if Zeke has any remorse over Kevin Stefanski leaving the Browns, because one of Kevin Stefanski's former players in Cleveland is starting to badmouth him publicly with somebody else who didn't play for him. And so there's some Kevin Stefanski slander going around. We'll tell you who it was next. Stick around, 97.1.
The Big Nine was a sad, incomplete place. Enter Ohio The rest is history. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
Aetna was there for me as I was going through a rough medical patch this year. I had peace of mind, which helped with my healing.
Those words from a real Aetna Medicare Advantage member speak to why U.S. News & World Report named us a best Medicare Advantage company. Because we show up on calls with members and doctors' offices when requested. We show up with the latest in online tools for easier access to healthcare. We show up for you. Because that's how healthier happens together. Member feedback has been edited for length and clarity.
I love Right Pack Credit Union because they're solution driven. I feel valued as a member.
They're focused on the latest technology and the personal connections.
Experience benefits that go beyond banking with Right Pack Credit Union. Just ask our actual members.
I definitely recommend Right Pack to all my family and friends as a credit union of choice.
Visit one of our Columbus area Right Pack Credit Union member centers near you. Based on individual members' experiences, results may vary.
Once there was a man who couldn't stand.
A mom who couldn't wait.
A scientific community that said it couldn't be done.
And then you.
And then I.
And then we.
Brought neuromuscular disease into screaming color with the Muscular Dystrophy Association.
For 75 years, our voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
We've willed the impossible into existence.
We've pushed the science,
raised the funds,
shifted the narrative,
and transformed the reality of life with neuromuscular diseases.
For 75 years, we've built communities together,
established the field of neuromuscular medicine,
and made it thrive.
Call that a legacy.
Call it impact.
Call it momentum.
Just call it ours.
Because it's the generations of community heroes that give MDA the strength we have today.
And until neuromuscular disease is a thing of the past, you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SPEED to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SPEED for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SPEED for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios, driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good afternoon, I'm Isaiah Jacob. The Blue Jackets continue the hot streak with a 5-2 win over Seattle yesterday. The Jackets went up 3-1 in the first. Cole Sillinger and Zach Werenski led the way for the CBJ with 3 points each. They play the Islanders today at 7. Pre-game coverage starts at 6. Cavs also in the win column yesterday, 111-106 against New Orleans. Donovan Mitchell at 27. Cleveland has Orlando up next on Tuesday. The round of 32 continues today. Right now, 7 seed Miami is taking on the 2 seed Purdue. Miami leads at the half 40-38. Coming up at 2:45, 2 seed Iowa State plays 7 seed Kentucky. And then coming up a little later on, a couple more good ones. Tennessee, the 6 seed, taking on UVA at 6:10. At 5:15, it's St. Joe's and Kansas, a 5-4 matchup. Breaking sports news when it happens on the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Are you still in your pajamas? We are. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
What'd you do? We were talking about Nate Burleson. Then I just hear you laughing at the end.
I ran out of content. I thought it might string a little longer. Oh. So then I just started running through scores that are coming up. Oh. St. Joe's, sure. Tennessee, UVA.
St. Joe's. Are they playing today?
Or St. John's.
St. Joe's might be playing in like the NIT or something.
The Hawks or something like that.
Yes.
Hey, by the way.
Jameer Nelson, shout out.
It's, yes, Delonte West. Keep it going.
That's it. Jameer Nelson's all I had. I couldn't tell you where Delonte West, a.k.a. LeBron's stepdad, went to college. I had no idea.
Leaving it alone. which is impressive for coming from me. So it's freezing in the studio, but it's like 78 degrees outside. It's going to peak at 83.
I know. I was, before I left, I was yelling at my kid that she needed to wear pants. And then I looked at the weather and I was like, should have let her wear shorts.
Yeah, man.
I feel like all people's kids might be like this, but my kid takes it to an extreme. My kid is always hot and always sweating. It's gross. Yeah. It's disgusting. And I should have just let her wear shorts, but I got a picture of her and she was wearing leggings and she just hiked them up. So let her live.
Now, I'm not trying to induce panic. So anybody out there who says, hey, I heard there's a tornado on the radio. That's not what I said.
Okay.
Okay. Did we all hear that correctly? I'm not saying that there's a tornado happening tonight.
Yeah, we're not breaking news here.
However, I'm just looking at my apps. I'm checking the weather, the hour by hour. There are going to be some massive temperature drop-offs tonight, and that always screams tornado to me, at least.
Yeah, I mean, there's like they were saying something about storms, I thought.
Yeah, there's going to be some storms.
Thunderstorms. Possible.
We got in a 3-hour span, we are going to drop 25 degrees.
Yeah.
That's not safe.
Yeah.
You know, one of my favorite parts about leaving St. Louis and coming here is that, I don't even want to put this in the atmosphere. Now that I'm about to say this, but I defeated the tornadoes there because I felt like I escaped
because you're alive. That's what you're saying.
Dude, okay. They got tornadoes every single week. And I'm sure if you go a little bit west of Kansas, it's probably every single day.
Yeah, or just the more like rural areas of Missouri, I bet.
Yeah, dude. It's now, granted, it's the same part of town in St. Louis that got hit every single weekend, and so I don't know how or why, but it was North County, and I lived in South County, so I was always good, except for a couple times where I wasn't always good. But I mean, there was one time in a Planet Fitness where I just had to stay in the locker room because there was. It's like, well, the power's out and you can't go driving because there's a tornado outside. I'm like, is my apartment crumbled to the ground or what's going on?
Oh, man.
And then another time I was, hey, you ever go to this is a dumb question because you lived in Indianapolis. You go to the Indy 500 ever?
Every year. I already have tickets for this one.
Do you really?
Yep.
Okay. Does it storm there every year? Or was there one year that stood out to you storm-wise?
There was one year, it was a rainy year, but I have not been there where it downpoured the whole time. There was one year the race got a little bit delayed.
Oh, it was
just
a 4-hour delay because I was there. This would have been probably 2024.
Yep.
That was the one. So this would have been, it's been 2 months before I started working here. But I went to the Indy 500 and there was a tornado in my part of town in St. Louis when I was in Indianapolis, so I was safe. But I mean, I wasn't that safe because it was like a rainstorm and a lightning storm. And we're just like there's nowhere to go. Like we're just in the infield, and so we're at least not in the metal bleachers. Although they put out so many warnings, like coming over the speakers, like please leave the metal bleacher, and people just stay. They're like, nah, I'll chance it.
Yeah.
Well, you got to walk 5 miles to get back to your car.
What are you going to do?
Exactly. And so that's why. Oh my gosh, dude. Oh, dude, the PTSD. It took us 4 hours to get into a car to leave. Because Ubers were just canceling on us left and right. Because you got 300 to 400,000 people trying to leave the same venue.
Early.
I know.
You have to. You cannot leave there when the race ends because it's the biggest spectacle in racing. Yeah. There's 1 million people there. I've never been to a bigger event in my life.
Yeah.
Any people watching.
Any stadium event, I would advise not Ubering out.
Well, here's another thing, too, is that both lanes of traffic, the traffic that, there's a yellow line that's supposed to divide the flow of traffic. It didn't matter which side of the yellow line you were on. Everybody was driving out. So, the Ubers could not drive to Indianapolis Motor Speedway because both sides of traffic were going the opposite direction.
Yes.
We're escaping the speedway.
I've done it to myself twice. One was Buckeye Country Superfest whenever Luke Combs was the headliner. I want to say that was 2022. We Ubered there.
He's coming to Ohio Stadium soon.
Yeah, I think he's coming back. Yeah. We Ubered there and then tried to Uber home. We were stuck on campus until 1:30 in the morning. And the only reason why we were able to get out is because one of the people that we lived with knew someone that lived on campus. And at that point was just so desperate, said, hey, can you give us a ride back to Dublin? And then I did it again leaving Paycor Stadium when Taylor Swift was there for the Eras Tour. I don't know why I thought that it would be any better.
2 Eras Tour concerts.
That is correct, Indy and Cincinnati. But
and how much money did you spend on that?
Not much, because just the industry connections is what helped me get to both of those.
Pardon me. Let me go find it. Where am I at? Hello.
Well, real quick. I mean, I know most people like listening. They probably want to know because their wives or their girlfriends are probably like, "How did this dude go to 2 shows? I couldn't even get to 1." The first time it was because I used to work for the country station here, WCOL, and my boss basically 24 hours before said, "Hey, I can get you 2 tickets for Eras Tour tomorrow in Cincinnati, but I need to know right now." And I said, "I don't know who I'm bringing, but yes."
Oh, did you?
Yes.
So you found a date?
Do you think it was hard to
put that on the Hinge profile? Hey, you want to go to the Eras Tour and see how many likes you get?
And then the second time, I had a friend that she's on the Capital One Venture card, which is like the one that Taylor Swift does all the commercials to. And they like she has that card because she's always traveling, and she was traveling to like, I don't know, name your destination, Central America country, wherever she was traveling to. And
Nicaragua.
Yes, sure. And she said
Honduras.
She said, "I'm going to be on a plane and I can't get in the queue, but if you can get in the queue and get us 2 tickets, I'll take you." I said, "Bet." I had gotten let go from WCOL and I was collecting severance. So I was playing a lot of Xbox and doing a lot of nothing.
Dude.
And the day that those tickets went on sale, they went on sale. I remember the queue opened at 1. Starting at noon, I was hitting the refresh button every minute. And I was, out of 28,000 people, I was 32nd in the queue.
Here's an interesting question. And I need some counsel from 2 people who, especially one over there behind the glass, who's got more experience than me, as I'm newly in the dating game. And by in the dating game, I mean I have a girlfriend. I don't mean like I'm single. I mean like now I'm in, you know?
Right.
Most money you would spend on concert tickets. Because I got to be honest. I checked out the Luke Combs because she's got a birthday next month. And I just discovered, like, oh, Luke Combs is coming to town. Let's just check it out.
Right.
Saw some of the prices. The seats weren't even good. And I'm like, you know what? We'll do something else.
Okay, here's where I'm at, and I know my perspective is not of the common person. But like I said, I was in music radio for almost 6 years, and the hookups there can't be overstated. Okay,
so I know a guy who knows a guy. That's what you're saying.
When I got out of the game, and I'm not going to act like I've lost like all my connections from that, but when you're not really in it anymore, like it's harder to get hookups for stuff. When I was working there from 2019 to 2024, when I found out how much ticket prices changed from 2018 to 2025, I was like, holy smokes, I had no idea. I had been unaware.
A lot of inflation in those 6 years.
I hadn't been paying for concert tickets, and I like going to concerts. So when I started going back and I saw how much concert tickets are now, I hardly ever go. And I used to be someone that literally would go to like multiple concerts a month just because of my job. And now I don't even have the desire to really go because it's too expensive.
All right. Eden says, hey, I want to go to this concert. What's the price range where you're like, all right, we can make this like a big date?
See, I'm a frequent festival goer. I am not a concert goer. I don't usually go to see one person.
Oh, so you're tripping at Lollapalooza.
I'm a festival person, and I would tell you the most that I would spend for a festival for both of us. So this is 2 tickets combined. I would do up to $1,000 per ticket. That's the most that I would.
Oh my God!
That's the most that I would spend. The most that I have.
Kristen, we're not doing that. Sorry.
The most I have spent on tickets.
Oh my God!
Is $600 per ticket. That's the most I've spent.
For how many days? Time out.
4.
Okay.
Give me 4 days.
Whew. But then your hotel. How are you getting there? And so once we get to the point of I could pay my mortgage with this, the answer is no.
Last year, I went to Alabama, Gulf Shores, Alabama, for Morgan Wallen's
Sand in My Boots.
I went to that, and that was the most expensive festival I've ever been to. The ticket prices weren't, they were $600 per ticket, which is expensive, obviously, but you're there for 3 or 4 days, however many it was. But getting the Airbnb right next to the festival, obviously, those are all skyrocketed. Drinks at the festival, food at the festival, the flight down there, it's a whole thing.
Guess your complete investment number, if you don't mind.
If I had to guess how much that I spent?
Yes, total with expenses related to your trip to Sand in My Boots Fest.
It was for sure thousands of dollars.
Yeah. Yep. Nope.
What?
Nope. Can't do it. No, they're just human beings. I'm not spending that much money to see them. Sorry.
Okay, when I went to Europe with my friends, I'd say in total, this is like a 6-day trip, Madrid and Lisbon. In total, probably 1,800 to 2,000. And you're talking about, oh my God, dude.
I think I was probably, if
you're
I
talking
had
about $2,000 for 4 days, and that's before all the other expenses kick in.
Yeah, I think
I'm talking about total.
For Morgan, for the Sand in My Boots one, I bet I was close to $3,000.
Yeah.
After everything.
Yep. Can't do it. Sorry.
Can't do it, won't do it.
That was
Sorry,
a one-timer there for me.
Oh, my goodness. We'll talk about Kevin Stefanski next. Stick around, 97.1.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State Athletics, The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
The sports book at Hollywood Casino Columbus is the place to be for all the basketball action. Watch every game at once on 2 video walls spanning 50 feet, plus over 30 TVs. Come show off your jump shot in our King of the Court drawings and take home memorabilia from a Cleveland basketball legend. We've also got unbeatable game day food and drinks all season long. Guarantee your spot. Reserve a table with up to $300 in dining credits at HollywoodColumbus.com. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Common Man here for Weed Man. I talk to you about Weed Man every year. Why? Simple. Number 1, I use it. Number 2, it works. You want to get those lawn roots thick, baby, because when that happens, they resist weeds, disease, and insects, and they're using top-of-the-line stuff. We're talking golf course quality. Weed Man is locally owned and operated by Corbin and Audrey. They will take care of you. Proudly serving Central Ohio and our Dayton friends. Call your local office, 614-733-3747, weedman.com.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If I said 0% interest for 60 months, you're probably saying, I don't even know what it is I have to buy. How do I get 0% interest? No one has that these days. Well, good news. Window Nation. You can count on them making your home more comfortable with their energy-efficient windows. They've got expert installers that'll put those windows in a day, and they're backed by a lifetime warranty. But here's the deal. In March, the more you buy, the more you could save with Window Nation. Up to 50% off all window styles. And yes, 0% interest for 60 months. Find out more. WindowNation.com.
Turn your tax refund into a new door with Menards. Make this the year you check that project off the list. For over 50 years, Mastercraft has been making great doors inside and out. From traditional to contemporary, Mastercraft offers styles to fit every home. Shop our in-stock selection or design your door your way, in-store or online. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
I'm Yolanda Harris. I'm a journalist at 10 TV News. I grew up here, and after 25 years of telling this community's stories, this place still means so much to me. When I'm not in the newsroom, I'm usually out supporting the same people and causes I care deeply about. I don't just report about our community, I belong to it. What happens here affects us all, and that's why we care so deeply about getting it right. And when local journalism is done right, it doesn't sit still. It moves. It moves you to act, to verify, to volunteer, to speak up or lend a hand. It moves your mind by challenging assumptions and offering new perspectives. It moves you forward by giving you the information to make decisions and thrive where you live. And yes, it moves your heart through the kind of human storytelling that stays with you wherever you are. And at 10 TV, we're here for all of it. These are the stories that move Central Ohio.
Get ECO.
ECO.
Hey, Jerry, you know how we remind people not to be a sump pump grump this time of year?
I sure do. If people's sump pumps aren't pumpy, they sure can get grumpy.
And down in the dumpy.
But our $89 sump pump inspection can replace all that sump pump grumpiness with happiness.
Even if it doesn't rhyme.
Get ECO.
ECO.
Our expert sump pump plumbers will make sure your sump pump is working to spec and ready to pump. We'll even do a camera inspection of your downspout drainage system to make sure there aren't any backups causing problems down the line.
And turn your sump pump grump into a flow-it-all, know-it-all.
Get ECO.
ECO.
Jerry, I'm starting to think not everything we do has to rhyme.
But rhymes help people remember things they like, Aaron. I mean, You like Hokey Pokey, don't you?
I do like the hokey pokey.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Eco plumbers, electricians, and sump pump technicians.
Catch all the buzzer beaters, upsets, bracket busters, and more at the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. It's the greatest month of the year.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
The madness is on and the deals are going full court at Germain Toyota of Columbus. Drive home the Powerhouse 2026 Tundra at 2.99% APR for up to 72 months and $1,000 Toyota financial cash. That's a slam dunk offer. Or you can drive home in the always reliable 2026 Camry LE for just $269 a month for 36 months, 10,000 miles a year, and $36.99 due at signing. Don't sit on the sidelines. Hustle into Germain Toyota of Columbus on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road or online at germaintoyota.net.
Hey there, friends. It's Bo Bishop here. You've heard me talk about High Bank's award-winning spirits, but let's talk about the food. High Bank delivers incredible meals and handcrafted cocktails in a space that works for every part of your week. Start with happy hour, drinks with friends, come back for brunch worth planning your weekend around, then stay for dinner. And get this, kids eat half off every Monday. Great food, award-winning drinks, a reason to come back time and time again. Make a reservation today at a location near you at highbankco.com. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We are looking at a mix of clouds and sunshine here for your Sunday, but it's going to be a very warm one as we reach the mid-80s for the afternoon, calling for a high around 84 degrees with a record high being 85 set back in 2012. Now we are going to be tracking a cold front building in, and that's going to kick off some showers and thunderstorms later on this evening. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Aaron White here on 97.1 The Fan.
An encyclopedic knowledge of sports and other random things you may or may not care about.
I think I found my mentor.
Rockman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan. You're listening to The Fan. It's Sunday. We're a sports station, and we shall call it Fan Sports Sunday.
What a massive oversight by me that Isaiah could just throw out there that his most extravagant... did we call it a trip?
Yeah.
Where was it?
Gulf Shores, Alabama.
Okay, that's a vacation. If it's a 4-day festival. So Isaiah told us in the last segment, as we were talking about how going off script is so much more fun than sticking to the script. So we're going to go off script. He said that the most expensive concert tickets he has ever bought for his girlfriend, now fiance, by the way, soon to be wife. They're eyeing next summer 2027. So I'm trying to stay on the nice list so I can make the invite.
Keep working.
Yeah.
Keep working.
I know that. I'm like, there are probably some friends from like middle school and high school and college, and I'm like, I got to creep my way in. I'm starting at the bottom. I'm working my way up. But he told us that the most expensive trip, as I was trying to seek some counsel from these two, that he has ever taken his girlfriend/fiance on, was $3,000 in total, where it was $1,000 for the tickets for a 4-day festival in Gulf Shores, Alabama. A 4-day festival, $1,000 for his tickets, $1,000 for her tickets, and then probably $1,000 of just everything else that gets added into it. He said $3,000. I failed to ask him, did she cover any of it?
Yeah, that's a great question, Cole. That's a great question. She covered things.
Oh, what, like a lunch?
When we got there,
she bought you lunch.
There were some drinks that I got that were bought for me. I'm glad that we're engaged now, because sometimes you got to invest early, man. I can't, especially to the young people. I can't tell you how important it is to invest, because she currently, as we know, she's on her way up. She's getting her doctorate right now.
Oh, this is a long play.
So sometimes you gotta find.
She's in vet school, bro.
So I've always said, I'm giving now. Remember me later.
Okay, so
You gotta remember me
he's
later.
investing in Gulf Shores, Alabama now, so he can go on more exotic trips on her dime later.
I know how much that I make, and I know that when she's a doctor, she will be able to spend more on me than I can spend on her right now. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited because right now she's like, what's exciting for us? Going out to dinner? Hey, TR, I'm ready for Texas Roadhouse. When she's the one making a lot more money, Texas Roadhouse won't be where we're going.
But here's why this is okay. But because they're making it. She's got a ring on her hand, bro. So you're going to have joint bank accounts. So you're at the point where you've reached it where it's going to be her money is your money and your money is her money anyway. And so it's like, okay, $3,000. I assume that this was pre-fiance?
This was pre.
Okay.
This is pre.
How long were we dating at this point?
So at that point, that was this past spring. Wasn't that long ago?
No, so like a year ago-ish.
Yeah, it was probably like 6 or 7 months before I proposed. I was already planning on proposing.
Okay, so
when we were there,
they had the joint bank accounts already. That was in.
Well, this wasn't our first date.
I know. But hey, the joint bank accounts were already going to be the final destination anyway. I feel like that's something that you have to know that though. Like you got to know, hey, we're going to get married. We're going to share the bank accounts. If I'm going to be spending $3,000. Minus all of the snacks that she covered when she went, you guys went to the gas.
Snacker, I will say,
you went to the gas station and got some gum. Yeah, so $3,000 minus her contributions for when she got you that bag of chips at the gas station. So I feel like that's okay if you know that the bank accounts are going to be joint at some point.
Cole, you're a few years younger than me. I'm 33. I have a kid. I have never been married, though. I'm telling you right now. There might be a time that you spend a lot of money with the girl that isn't the one. There's a lot of people out there that are listening right now that are like, I've spent thousands of dollars on women that I never married. And I'm hoping it doesn't happen to you. I do not wish this upon you, but you saying like...
First of all, there's no way it's happened yet.
Right.
Because the last girlfriend was in college, and I promise you, college me was not spending money. I wasn't spending money on myself like crazy.
And then you get to the even worse scenario is if you do invest all this money and time and energy into this person and you get married and then you get a divorce and then it becomes even more financially devastating to you. I don't wish that for any of the three of us that haven't had to deal with that. But I know there's people out there listening that are like, I've been taken for thousands of dollars by a woman that I'm not currently married to.
Are you suggesting that you have?
No,
your daughter does not count.
No, I'm saying that's what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't wish that upon any of the three of us. I've had long-term girlfriends that I've spent a lot of money on that I'm no longer with, but I know there's people out there that have been married, maybe even married multiple times that have taken their ex-wives on exotic vacations and have bought them very expensive things, and they have nothing to show for it today. And I'm just saying, I hope we're not there. But you're acting like in order for me to do this, that, and the other, I need to know that I'm going to be married to this person.
Yes.
And I'm just saying it doesn't always work out that way.
This plan isn't foolproof, as
right,
you're saying.
That is what I'm trying to tell you.
I'm saying if $3,000 is $3,000, bro, I'm saying you can't reach that level of your relationship until you basically know, okay, like we're getting married.
But
Like
you got to have a cap.
Yeah, I don't know what it would be. I don't know what it would be.
How much I love you is how much I'm willing to spend on you.
Did you already have the ring bought?
I did not have the ring bought yet.
Have you already had your ring shopping date that you told me about where she's like, hey, let's go on a date and let's go shop for, okay. Like, well.
That would be pretty close in time. I think that happened just after.
Okay. So this is what she went on this, man, she's probably thinking, he dropped $3,000 on a vacation with me. Hell yeah, I'm marrying him. And you know what? And that's a good investment. That's a good investment
for me.
I'm just saying, if you're putting down $3,000, I wouldn't do that for myself. God, you said it would have been $1,500 if it went solo. I'm not even sure I would have done $1,500 for myself.
Nope, I don't care about myself that much. I'm gonna be honest.
I can listen to music in the car and plug my phone in, man. But that does sound like it. Was it a great time?
Oh, it was a blast.
Oh, man.
It was the best part about it was me and all my family, like my brothers went and all our girls, my best friends went. It was a whole trip. And I am cheap, I will say.
Damn, I didn't know all the friends were involved.
We did drive down to Alabama, which was I think it was a 14-hour drive to the beach. Going down there, very fun. On the way back, not so much fun.
Dude, wait a minute. Who all was in the car? Like, how many people were in the car?
Some people flew. We had. I think there were 6 of us that drove together.
Too many.
5 or 6 that drove down there.
Too many.
All right. So the origin of this conversation was you considering taking your girlfriend to see Luke Combs at the shoe April 25th.
How much are those?
I'm trying to pull it up right now.
Nowhere near $3,000.
Is it a festival or just a one-timer?
No, it's just a
one time. It's not $3,000.
One-timer.
Let's see. I'm trying to pull up the cheapest tickets. This is bad radio.
Again, individual was like $300, which means it's like $600 for bad seats.
Well, like honestly, here I'm looking. I mean, these are the cheapest ones, but $5,850 C deck.
$5,850.
Yeah, that's the cheapest ones that they have. Let's look at
What's that name? Obstructed view?
The best available.
Yeah. Is there a giant
floor is around $250. So those are the most expensive. You could find somewhere in between. They're cold. Now I just think you're cheap.
No.
Yeah, you could find. Cole. Just invest some
Wait,
money.
time out. What day of the week is this? I may have a new excuse.
This is a Saturday.
No, well, there's no excuse there.
Yeah, you're being cheap.
I guess
But
you're
you just started dating this girl too. But like, I feel like you could probably spend like $400 and have a good time.
Okay.
$400. That's a pretty good birthday gift. I won't lie.
Yeah.
That's a pretty.
See, this is the problem of having.
This is
the problem of having a public job.
You know what? Here,
but
Cole,
I do think at radio, if we think it, we should say it. So if we're gonna do anything, we should do it live.
I flexed a little bit earlier about my ability to get tickets.
I'm not saying this is happening, by the way.
I'm gonna try to hook you up. I'm gonna make a hard attempt. I'm not promising anything.
Hey, she's gonna hear this. Pretend like I bought it.
It's just the three of us and anyone listening right now that would know.
Oh my! Hey, I appreciate the effort.
Okay.
You know what?
I'm gonna try.
Hey, now what should I get him for his birthday? When's your birthday?
$400.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, glad we're all keeping score.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I'm not gonna obviously buy these.
Okay,
I'm gonna try to know someone that knows someone that has access.
No, I know, but just the fact that you put in the effort, I appreciate that, because I hate asking for favors. I hate inconveniencing people. I try to lay low. I try, like, if I need something, I try to get it done by myself. The fact of like having to ask somebody to go out of their way for me. I didn't ask you, just for the record. We have this on tape. I didn't ask.
Nope.
So the fact that you're going to try to pull some strings, if it works out, amazing. If it doesn't work out, well, first of all, let me make sure she's in town. Yeah, before you do, let me get her schedule.
I mean, if not, I'll just use them.
She's visiting her sister in Boston at some point. But yeah, you and I can go together.
Hey,
I didn't say all that.
The three of us. Yeah, you know what?
I'm getting really excited for my birthday. It falls on a Tuesday this year.
Yeah, you know what?
And that'll be just after Sunday. I'm going to be excited.
I did some bad math. All right, I figured it out now. All right, I promise. This is a promise, which means I got to pay off in this tease. We'll do the Kevin Stefanski and one of his former players calling him out next. Stick around. 97.1.
The Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus is the place to be for all the basketball action. Watch every game at once on 2 video walls spanning 50 feet, plus over 30 TVs. Come show off your jump shot in our King of the Court drawings and take home memorabilia from a Cleveland basketball legend. We've also got unbeatable game day food and drinks all season long. Guarantee your spot. Reserve a table with up to $300 in dining credits at HollywoodColumbus.com. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Forget the pot of gold. Save some green at Coghlan Ford. During Ford Truck Month, take over $13,000 off MSRP, plus no payments until June on select new F-150s. New Bronco Sport or Ranger. Lease for $399 a month for 48 months. Visit CoghlanFord.com.
Coghlan has the car for you.
Factory rebates to dealer. 90 days deferred payments. Not all buyers will qualify. Bronco $399 down. Ranger $2,000 down. 7,500 miles per year. 25 cents per mile over. Excludes $250 dock fee. $395 disposition fee at lease. No security deposit. Ends 3/31/26.
Remember what sunshine feels like? Windows open, birds chirping, everything looking fresh and new. Spring is closer than you think, and so are those home projects on your to-do list. Maybe winter left its mark. A small leak that's getting bigger, shingles that didn't survive the snowstorms, or siding that's clearly seen better days. Whatever your home is facing, our team of professionals at Newman Roofing are here to help. For more than 34 years, Newman Roofing has been helping homeowners protect what matters most. From your first phone call, you'll notice the difference. Passionate and committed people who care about doing the job right. And with over 1,000 5-star Google reviews, you don't have to take our word for it. If your roof, siding, or gutters need attention, call the family company you can trust, Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof this spring, get a Newman roof.
There's nothing Bo Bishop can't do well, except find competent co-hosts. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan. coffee? These guys don't need coffee. They're jacked on life and Buckeye football. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
Direct quote. OMG, that would be so much fun. Too bad I'll be in Boston, but I get back the 26th. So I appreciate the effort.
I'm out of my commitment that I just made.
Man,
It was like, darn it.
I had $400. I had $400 ready to spend. I had it ready. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I don't have to use my connections on this one. Nice. I can save it for the one I want to go to.
Save it selfishly.
No. Oh, what? You mean for him or for me?
For me.
No kidding. In fact, if
you can only reach out to your connections so much for free stuff.
I know, but what I'm saying is to burn a Luke Combs one on someone who isn't yourself, that says a lot, and I appreciate that.
I mean, you might want to get the gong ready for this one, but I've seen Luke Combs many of times.
Hold up.
It would be okay. I could miss out on this time.
That's even worse. All right, whatever. Hey, let the record show, I had, whether this is true or not, I had $400 at the ready, but thank you.
Let the record show that I offered. It's the thought that counts.
That's the most important part. No question about it. As we're all in line to tell Dylan when our birthdays are, so he can help us out. All right, I've mentioned this for the past who even knows how long, but
I think you teased it 3 times.
Yeah, so we should probably do
the
it.
charm.
All right, so apparently there's a podcast. This is a theme of just former athletes having podcasts that you'd never heard of until they start to make waves. So this one's called Fourth and South. Do you want to take, well, you have the sheet in front of you, but do you want to take a wild guess which 2 athletes are the co-hosts of Fourth and South?
Honestly, don't know.
Glad you looked at the show sheet. Isaiah.
Is Jarvis Landry one of them?
He is one of them.
Is the other one Leonard Fournette?
Yes, so we got 2 LSU Tigers who are co-hosting this. This is going to be Leonard Fournette first, explaining why he would not want to play for Kevin Stefanski. And it has to do everything with Shedeur Sanders, it sounds like.
Picking on the coach, what's his name again? Kevin Stefanski. That shit bothers me, right? You know, even he had going on with Shedeur, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And if you have a guy there that could be your franchise maker, that can change the organization, you know, and I'm not sure what was going on in his brain or why he didn't want to play him or whatever the case may be, it doesn't matter. But I have a problem with coaches like that. Like, to me, his resume is not good to me at all. Just being real.
Yeah.
And he gets another shot at coaching where, you know, it was guys like me and you who have great ass resumes, right? And didn't get another shot or not playing at all. So when I see like that, man, that had me hot.
Yeah.
So he'd definitely be one of those coaches I would not ever want to play for.
Okay, so awkward position to be in when your co-host is just completely essing on your former head coach, because now you're on the mic. You got to respond. What did Jarvis Landry have to say to talk about Kevin Stefanski talking to Leonard Fournette?
Man, I would say being in Cleveland and playing there, you know, he was cool to be around. It's like you say, it just almost felt like, you know, as much as he knew what he was doing, right, he really maybe didn't, right? And I think that, like, sometimes some of these coaches or most of these coaches get put in a position too soon, right? True. You know, they have success as a position coach, right? And then they get thrown into this head coaching role where, you know, you expect most of these coaches that's younger to be more personable, right? More relatable with their players. Yeah. And in most cases, it just doesn't work out that way, right? And I know, like, my time in Cleveland, especially in the beginning, man, it was great. Like, he ended up winning Coach of the Year. You know, we ended up going to the playoffs. And then for some reason, then after, bro, it just kind of felt like, you know, the spark between the connection between the players and the coaches just kind of started to dim out, right? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if he'd be a great coach in the league, right? But I do think he knows a lot about offense.
As much as he knew what he was doing, he maybe didn't. Isaiah, did you feel that way watching him be your head coach in Cleveland?
It's a very interesting take. I liked Kevin Stefanski, especially early on. I thought he did a great job when we made that playoff run in 2020. When Jarvis played under him, I thought he was pretty solid. The offense looked good. He made Baker look good. And then at the back end of it, I think that what he's saying about maybe the players and the coaching staff kind of falling off a little bit. I think that was evident. I think that was the eventual reason why Stefanski got booted out. I don't think it was because he wasn't a good coach, but I think things got stale and it was time for a new regime. And that's my thoughts on it.
Here's what I'm not a Kevin Stefanski apologist, huge fan of Kevin Stefanski, but I feel like I have to defend him here. It's like he won Coach of the Year twice with the Cleveland Browns. He went 11-5 and made a playoff appearance with the Cleveland Browns, and is arguably an uncalled, helmet to helmet away from going to the or what had been the AFC Championship.
AFC Championship.
With the Cleveland Browns, and then did it again in 2003, having to play big games down the stretch with Joe Flacco, who was in his late 30s. I understand. Again, it's kind of like what we were talking about with the ring culture. It's like, yeah, Kevin Stefanski's probably never going to win a Super Bowl ring. I'm not saying that. But he has accomplished stuff, and he accomplished it with arguably the worst franchise in the entire sport. To say that he doesn't know what he's doing, there's a million coaches in the NFL that would take Kevin Stefanski's resume right now.
Well, funny enough that you are so emphatic about the point about it was the Cleveland Browns, because here they are on a later episode.
So you telling me that record, he deserved two-time Coach of the Year? Maybe he got it because he was coaching the Cleveland Browns.
His first year he came in.
Yeah.
We made some noise.
Yeah.
Obviously, the years before we hadn't had no success at all. So, it was. I do think it was fitting and well deserved. I know when I was there for 100% fact, when we were struggling as an offense, I know Kevin Stefanski himself gave up play calling to AVP. The same thing that he's done. That we have guys that have told us that he's done throughout the years of not being able to get it done as a play caller and then putting it off on somebody else. Then the team gets success and then he takes over play calling again. I don't know how much history he's going to have as a head coach. But again, with this record, only thing he really got going for him is those two-time Coach of the Year.
So all he is a two-time Coach of the Year?
That's all.
So basically,
how come Romeo Cornell didn't do it, or Mangini, or Pat Shurmur, or Chud, or Pettin, Hugh Jackson? They didn't win Coach of the Year with the Browns.
I can tell you why Hugh Jackson did, because he went 3-33 or whatever the record was.
3-36-1.
Yeah, see, that one's burned into our brains.
Freddie Kitchens, I forgot about him and his 1 year.
Well, it sounds like Leonard Fournette's the one who really kind of has the agenda against Kevin Stefanski, and it sounds like Jarvis Landry is in enough agreement to be concerned, because Leonard Fournette was the one who kind of was saying dude, he only won it because he's the coach of the Browns. Basically kind of framed that as it's a feel-good story. There are low expectations.
Right, and I do get that.
Yeah, and then Jarvis Landry didn't exactly defend him.
But is that not every Coach of the Year? Your team was bad last year. Now your team's good. You're the Coach of the Year. Who won it this year? Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, they're not.
Patriots were bad last year. Now they're good. If the Patriots had won a bunch of games last year, he probably wouldn't have won it. They aren't giving it to Andy Reid.
Right. I was going to say Andy Reid and Bill Belichick, they don't have a bajillion Coach of the Year trophies on their mantle, but it at the same time, it's the reason why he won Coach of the Year is because it's you did it with this franchise that no one else has had even close to this type of successes with. I mean, I guess you could argue both sides that if he was coaching another team and had the same success that they wouldn't have gave him the Coach of the Year, but that's not the reality of the situation. We just, as an NFL community, we were impressed with the fact that Kevin Stefanski was able to get the Browns to the playoffs twice.
And the first one, I would give them the first one. Maybe it is because it's the Browns. The second one, who were his quarterbacks? Joe Flacco. He got Joe Flacco to the playoffs. DTR.
Maybe was in there.
Yeah, he was one of the ones. The other one was P.J. Walker. He won a game against the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, that second one was deserved by the quarterback play alone.
Well, I'm a known Baker Mayfield hater on these airwaves, so the fact that he got as far as he got with Baker Mayfield is also impressive to me, just as impressive as the run of quarterbacks that he had in the second time around winning Coach of the Year.
And the second time around, the defense was elite. The first time around, the defense was horrible. That was the Andrew Sandejo year.
All right, 11 down, 1 to go. We're going to spin the wheel on the best sounds of March Madness so far. Coming up next, stick around, 97.1.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
We're hiring at Don's Garage Doors. No experience? No problem. We provide full training, a brand new van, top-of-the-line tools, a gas card, and steady jobs with weekly pay. This isn't just a job. It's a career with real growth, great pay, and job security. Our team members go from training to 6 figures, and we're ready to help you do the same. Don't wait. Apply now at donsgaragedoors.com.
I need a small order of sheet metal to repair something in the shop. It's not much, but can you help me out?
At Metal Supermarkets, no order is too small.
Wait, really?
Yep.
What about small home projects?
Yep.
For a car I'm working on?
Yep.
Any kind of metal?
Yep.
Cut to size?
Yep.
With no minimum order?
Yep.
How about 1,000 cut pieces of aluminum flat bar?
Yep. Choose from over 8,000 types, shapes, and grades of metal in any quantity you need. And yes, we're serious. Any metal, any size, ready fast. Locally owned on Wilson Road.
I'm Dan Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Last year, millions of people called us for representation. Why? Because trust grows when you win, and we've won a lot. Over $30 billion and counting. When you call America's largest injury law firm, you're calling a family. You're calling an army, our army. You're calling somebody who will fight for you. Injured? Let our family fight for your family. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
At Germain Honda of Dublin, they get it. Nobody grows up dreaming of driving a minivan, but it's hard to argue with unbeatable versatility. Enter the Honda Odyssey, packed with space, comfort, and family-friendly features that make life easier. And if you want efficiency, Germain Honda has you covered with great incentives on hybrid favorites like the CR-V, the Civic, and the Accord. Shop Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road just south of 270 and at GermainHondaofDublin.com.
The Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus is the place to be for all the basketball action. Watch every game at once on 2 video walls spanning 50 feet, plus over 30 TVs. Come show off your jump shot in our King of the Court drawings and take home memorabilia from a Cleveland basketball legend. We've also got unbeatable game day food and drinks all season long. Guarantee your spot. Reserve a table with up to $300 in dining credits at HollywoodColumbus.com. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Don't miss the Floor Madness outlet sale at Right Rug Flooring. Save up to 80% on truckloads of floors and more, including tiles starting at 19 cents a square foot and a massive selection of laminate, luxury vinyl, and carpet, all drastically reduced. Save up to 80% during the Floor Madness outlet sale at Right Rug Flooring on Poth Road in Whitehall. 24-month special financing is available with approved credit. Hurry, the Floor Madness outlet sale ends March 30th. Dealers welcome.
Coffee, iced cap, refreshers. Tim Hortons has all your favorite beverages. And now you can get your favorite bite for less. When you buy any size beverage, add a baked daily donut for $1, a tasty bagel for $2, or a freshly cracked hot breakfast sandwich for just $3. So next time you order your favorite Tim's beverage, add something that satisfies your cravings and your wallet. The $1, $2, $3 menu. Only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, must ask for offer in restaurant. Tax extra exclusions and terms apply.
Get Eco.
Aaron?
Yeah, Jerry?
Something is wrong.
Something's wrong?
Yeah, it's definitely something.
Get Eco.
Thumping and bumping and jumping.
What is?
But it's not pumping.
Get Eco.
Jerry?
Yeah, Aaron.
Are we talking about your sump pump?
Yeah. Isn't it great?
Isn't what great?
I like the sound of it. Sump pump. Sump pump, sump pump, sump pump.
Get Eco.
Jerry, can you keep a secret?
Aaron, I'm as silent as a bank vault in Switzerland.
I kind of like to say it too.
Hey, I should invent a sump pump that lets you know when it's working.
How would it do that?
It would say, sump pump, sump pump, sump pump.
That's a great idea, Jerry, but a sump pump should be exactly like you.
How so?
As silent as a bank vault in Switzerland.
Get Eco.
Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
Get Eco.
BlueJackets.com.
Hey, Timmy, we're in the finals for Pizza Madness.
Oh, Mikey, we've got a classic matchup. We've got Adriatico's taking on Pizza House for all the marbles.
Vote now, pizzamadness.pizza, brought to you by our friends at Billiards Plus.
Yay, pizza.
When we designed our Columbus Blue Jacket ticket plans, we designed them for fans like you. For fans who want to choose their games and their seats, and fans who need flexibility when their plans change. Columbus Blue Jacket season ticket plans. Get your tickets now at BlueJackets.com.
It's never a bad time to fire up the grill. At Billiards Plus, the grilling season never ends. While you're grill shopping, you'll love browsing Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Cosby Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Take the Fan with you wherever you go with the Fan app. Download it now, or we'll find you. You bring your lunch money today? Good, give it to us. This is Fan Sports Sunday.
All right, at 56:40, Isaiah's thrown at the break, whether I'm ready or not. Fan Sports Sunday, Colbar team is Dylan Gonzalez, Isaiah Jacob. We appreciate you tuning in along the way. So, in the break, I was laughing out loud at something that I was reading because earlier in the show I told you about all those Robbie Avila nicknames and Marshmallow Anthony and Shane Gillis Alexander and stuff like that. I saw another one that somebody tweeted out. Turned out to be Mark Norman, who I think is not funny. So I was laughing along as he called Robbie Avila Magic the Gathering Johnson, which is pretty good. And then as I went completely straight-faced once I saw who tweeted it, because I don't find Mark Norman funny. So that meme where it's like the worst person you know actually made a great point?
Yeah.
That was kind of me just now. But all right, I want to spin the wheel on the best sounds that we've gotten from March Madness so far. I think this one is definitely one that caught people's attention. Kevin Willard, the head coach at Villanova, here is him on not being pleased with how his team was defending inbounds plays.
Coach, 16 paid points for Utah State. How do you keep them out?
I'm not firing my staff because we've...
Not now?
Yeah, I am, because we've given up 8 points on underneath out of bounds defense. So the only thing I'm going to do is fire them and get a new staff.
All right, go do that now. Bye, Coach. Kevin, we're losing people by the second.
No, Lauren. Well, they're still there now.
That's
I can
good.
see them.
Okay.
So at least they're going to be here through the end of this, half. I was going to say game, but who knows?
All right, so was that throwing your coaching staff under the bus, or was that kind of just screwing around a little bit?
Both. You know what? They probably deserved it. He's not going to actually fire them, obviously, but you know what? He's just being honest. I feel like you bring this up. You bring this up more than anybody else.
I know what you're about to say.
You want interesting content when people do interviews, but then as soon as they give some interesting content, there's certain sections of social media that want to throw them under the bus. Like, this was entertaining. This made me laugh. And then there's people that got to be like, oh man, like he's not taking responsibility. He's the head coach. Everything's on him. Yada yada yada. It's like, he gave us an interesting soundbite. Let him live.
A little bit. It was tough for me to decipher how much of that was joke and how much of that was actually serious. Like, even if you are joking, and like, I guess the way that he could pass this off, maybe the truth is somewhere in the middle. Something where it's like, Kevin Willard's not actually going to fire his staff, but he did just make it publicly known that it was all their fault because they're in charge of like the inbound defense or something like that. So it's like, that's okay. But if that's the truth, if that's the delegation that he made as the head coach and they're the ones who are botching it, well, then I would say get in the middle of it and fix it. So anyway, so he was asked after the game. I don't know what led to this, but he was obviously asked about it. But you're going to hear the reporter in this question start this, which I can see why Kevin Willard would be a little bit prickly with this one, because he is trying to make it clear that it's sarcasm on his end and it's being taken seriously, but he kind of like victimize himself a little bit too much. But the way that this question is brought up kind of makes it sound like Kevin Willard mentioned also in the postgame press conference something about making changes. Let's find out together.
You just mentioned making changes to your staff. You gave a...
it's a joke.
That's what I want to ask you about.
Bless it.
You gave an interview during the game. It went viral. You're being criticized pretty heavily online.
I don't care.
It's a joke.
Welcome to my life. It's a joke.
Welcome to my life. That's a bit dramatic. And I think he's correct in like,
right.
Hey, it's a joke. Like, I was trying to have a little bit of fun, but listen to the first part of this again.
You just mentioned making changes to your staff.
You just mentioned making changes to your staff. When you hear that, and we don't have the full press conference in front of us, but when you hear that, does that kind of make you think that he brought up making changes to his staff in the post-game press conference, and that's like the piggyback?
Yes, I get what he's saying, but he also set himself up for failure. I don't know, maybe I've never been a college basketball head coach, so I don't know. So maybe he kind of like forgot that he said that in the middle of the game. But once you do say that in the middle of the game, and then in the press conference you mentioned or in the post-game press conference, I should say, making changes to your staff, you kind of set yourself up to get asked that follow-up question. Like in my mind, I have no fault with the reporter for asking him that given the context.
All right, and then let's spin this one, too. So this is Texas Tech head coach Grant McCasland. They were in a 5-12 game. I believe they played on Friday, so that'd be day 2, if I'm correct on that, on the round of 64. Here's what he had to say.
Coach, a lot of people across the country took Akron 12 over 5. A lot of upsets yesterday. Did that kind of help you get your message across to the guys?
No, we didn't talk about it, honestly. I mean, I've played in this game as a 13 seed, and the more you make out of I just tried to show them the realities of this. This team's stinking good. I mean, they can put pressure on you. Like, let's not make this more than what it is. If you put the number by somebody's name and you try to determine how hard you're going to play by a number, then you're dumb. I mean, to me, let's look at what they do well and let's try to take it away. And let's talk about what we do well that they can't handle, and let's really focus on that. So ours was really focused on game plan, effort, and how do we execute on every possession, and let y'all talk about all these seeds and numbers, because we saw their jersey and it was blue and ours was white, and we wanted the white team to win, and that's the way we approached it.
Okay, so Grant McCasland there says that seeding should not determine your effort against the team. Somebody might want to tell Malik Brown of Duke.
What did Shire tell you in the locker room?
Oh, yeah, obviously we're playing our basketball. Just like I said, we thought it was going to be a cakewalk going into this game, so now we know what it is, and we just got to respond back the way we usually do.
Appreciate it, thanks.
The appreciated thanks of like, hey, appreciate it, thanks for the best soundbite we're going to hear the entire tournament. So Malik Brown, this is where I got to give him the credit. I'm going to give him the defense of he was honest.
Right.
This is something I think about with coaches, too. When you know that your team is better, is there any part of you that wants to just tell them, like, guys, I'm going to be so pissed off at you if we don't win this game by 25. Like, just set the standard there. Forget wins and losses. Say, we're better than this team. Let's go out and do it.
I mean, we've both played basketball growing up. I've had coaches say it to me in high school. So if I'm getting it said to me on very low-level high school basketball, I'm sure some of the best coaches in the world have the same take.
That's not the coaching that I had, though. All the coaching that I had was like trying to convince you that the opponent could beat you on like any given day and like whatnot. And so that for me, to kind of hear a player go into that and be like, yeah, we thought we were going to roll them. I kind of like that. All right, we appreciate you guys sticking around for Fan Sports Sunday. Keep it here, 97.1.
Common Man, a radio veteran, has a large hemorrhoid. Timmy Hall, a good, clean boy, moonlights as man's hemorrhoid. Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays at